We're live. Welcome to Casual AF, the gaming stream so casual, 99.9% of the time. I don't even fire up a video game. We don't even talk video games. Most times we don't have any preparation or topics, but we do tonight. This is crazy. I'm here with Craig Bragg. Craig,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Living the dream, buddy.
Awesome.
We got to have a talk.
All
We got
right.
to have a talk.
All right, let's do it. Pox is here.
Oh, yes.
Good on you,
Jeez.
Pox.
People
Welcome.
actually like waiting. That's crazy. The notification went out before the stream started. That's wild. Thanks
It's
for
all
coming.
because I put
With
it
me.
on
Oh,
X. It's all because I put it on X. People saw
oh,
that.
very
my
nice. Very
my
nice.
how many followers do I have on X? Let's see here.
Like,
My 175 followers all got a notification of Casual AF 32 tonight. So
video games. Who plays those? Not me. For real. For real. Six is here too.
good day, 6. Welcome.
Oh, he sent me this compilation today of the Leafs versus the Bruins over the past few years. In particular, this right. And the top comment, best comment I've ever seen on YouTube. The greatest rivalry in sports, Leafs versus Game 7.
Oh shit! So did they move on, or are the Bruins out now? I don't follow hockey, so
Oh, I all I know is they beat out the Leafs, and I
yeah,
like
they
I
always
don't really
do.
follow
They
it.
always fucking do, and they always fucking will. My brother's a Bruins fan. I think he likes the Leafs, but he likes the Bruins more.
Yeah, you always have like a backup team or two, right?
Yeah. But I know the Bruins knocked out the Leafs. I just wonder if they've moved on or they've been eliminated now too. Anybody who follows hockey has to let me know. You're not. You're supposed to buy a real car powered by diesel and laugh at the idiots who that bought an EV and got their car remotely killed by Commissar Trudeau for making a mean tweet against the Gov. It's good.
See,
It's very topical. You bring that up. That's right.
yeah, fuck, we're Bruins will always own the Leafs. Always.
It's true.
It's like the curse of Don Cherry. Coached them for one season, and now they just beat Leafs constantly. I hate hockey.
Go ahead.
It always gets in the way during me watching ice skaters get in fistfights. Why are they like this?
It's true. You know, one time I'm expecting a boxing match will break out into a hockey game.
Oh, speaking of boxing, did Usyk beat Fury?
No idea.
I
I didn't
see it.
Tyson has not fought Jake Paul yet, has he?
No, is it June or July?
I don't know.
It's coming though.
What I should say is Tyson hasn't made a red smear out of Jake Paul yet, has he?
Fuck, man. Again, I think we discussed this a little bit. Like Jake Paul.
My father-in-law is like, yeah, but you know he's old. He's 50, whatever, but 54, something like that, 57,
58.
58. He's 58, and I'm like, yeah, but he's built different. Like, look at the fucking guy. And he's like, yeah, but you know this guy's younger than him. He's a lot younger. He's a lot faster. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much faster he is. All Tyson has to do is land one fucking body shot, and Jake Paul will immediately realize, fuck, I made a mistake.
There's another thing, man. Like, I don't know that Jake Paul being the younger fighter automatically makes him the faster fighter. Like, okay, bear with me a second. The YouTube boxing matches were some of the dumbest things to ever happen.
Yeah.
But this kid actually took boxing seriously.
Yeah.
He has trained really hard, come really far, and he's a legit boxer. Like I wouldn't question.
I'm not saying he's not a legit fighter. I'm saying he's not Mike Tyson level fighter.
I was watching just some clips of Mike Tyson training at 58 years old. It is like impossible. Like it doesn't make any sense. A 58-year-old man should not be able to move like that.
Yeah.
And he does. Like he's
not only that, like like in this short amount of time since this whole thing got announced, you look at his body. He's like fucking turned his body around. He's gotten into shape so fucking quick. Now that's testament to the fact that he's been an athlete for so long that it doesn't take him that much to get back into shape, right? Because his muscles are conditioned to do this stuff, right? But no, and I mean, like, you listen to him punch a fucking heavy bag, or you listen to him punch a bag, it's like a gunshot going off. He fucking hits hard. He hits like a goddamn freight train. And I'm sorry, but
Tyson.
As good as Jake Paul might be, for his, all the training he's had more recently, and for the fact that he's younger, I just don't think he's thought this through. Excuse me.
It's wild, man. It is fucking wild. Like, Tyson is one of the greatest of all time, even on the pound for pound scale.
I remember the time Mike told a guy he would do sexual violence to him until he loved him. Like fucking Muhammad Ali. He's like the 21st century Muhammad Ali. He's poetic. He's poetic in his obscenity. Roids helps. Yeah, I'm sure. But I don't think that I don't think Jake Paul's a natty either. So,
and like Tyson's just, it's not even built different. He was bred different and then built on that. Like at 15 years old, he was 200 pounds with a neck as thick as my fucking thigh. Like
that's the other thing. Like I'm like the problem with Jake Paul is you think, well, he could land a good, cross hook and hit him hard enough that it rattles his brain and dazes him. I'm like, not that fucking neck. There's no goddamn way. Like, you look at his head, his neck looks like a goddamn tree trunk. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting 30 seconds. That's all I gotta say. It's going to be very, very watch. We're both full of shit. We don't know what the hell we're talking about, and it's going to go for like 9 rounds, and it's going to look touch and go for time. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I have a feeling it's going to be very quick. But
like, because Mike Tyson is the human pit bull. Yeah, pretty much.
Guy's fucking ear off for crying out.
Hey, he was headbutting him all fight. All right. Holyfield's a terrible cheater.
Yeah, but
he knows how to cheat. He knows how to cheat. The best boxers often do. Yeah. But no, like, man, because Tyson's power, unmistakable.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you see because he hits somebody once across the chin and they just fucking stiffen up and hit the deck.
Yeah, they buckle. Their legs just go out from under them. Yeah, it's nuts.
But the other thing is this much shorter heavyweight with short arms is walking down bigger men because they can't fucking hit him. He steps forward and they throw at him and he's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
He's insanely fast. His head movement.
He's fast for the size of guy he is. It's true. Because not only is he powerful, but he knows how to fucking move. He knows how to box. He's an expert boxer. He's a professional boxer. Yeah, it's true. I'm not going to pay to see it. I'll watch the highlights the day after. But
the highlight.
The highlight. That's right. The highlights will include all the trash talk they do at the weigh-in. Did you ever see a movie called The Great White Hype?
Yeah, a long time ago.
That movie was hilarious. Damon Wayans, is it Damon Wayans?
Yeah.
Damon Wayans is like the prize fighter that nobody can beat, right? He's the Tyson character. And he comes out for the weigh and he's all fat and flabby. And he's like, because he just doesn't take this shit seriously.
Yeah.
And the white guy, the Irish guy that he's gonna box, right? He thinks he can actually what's that?
That particular white guy was the only guy who ever beat him during his amateur career.
Right.
White guy never went pro.
Right.
That's the
and he's like, he actually has in his head that I've been tapped again to beat him. And all it is just fucking pageantry. They just want to bring him back to the ring so the fight promoters can make a bunch of fucking money.
Yeah.
And Damon Wayans, he's like, fuck, this is all just a joke. It's a game. I don't care. He shows up to the weigh-in. He's got a fucking beer belly. He looks like he hasn't trained in months. And then they finally get in the ring, and white guy lands a fucking a lucky punch. And Damon Wayans like, are you serious? You fucking playing with me now? And he just fucking obliterates him. He just knocks the shit out of him. Oh, fuck. It was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta rewatch that. It's been ages since I saw it, but I remember it was quite good.
Well, I mean, this is sports talk. It all fits under Wag Me, right?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So I had a new PR yesterday at the gym. Yesterday was leg and arm day. Arms wasn't so great, but legs, I did a new PR. I did 8 plates. You say it's 4 plates. I say it's 8 plates because
No. 8 plates is called 4 plate.
All right, I did 4 plates.
Singular.
4 plate. Right.
Because it's per side. 1 plate bench press is 135 pounds. That's how it's measured, because they're always the same on each side. It has to be.
Yeah. If I were doing a bench press, I would be saying, yeah, I did a plate, 135 pounds, right? Yeah. But in reality, it's 2 45-pound plates on a 45-pound bar. Right. I did a total of 8 plates, which by Irving's nomenclature is 4 plate on the leg press.
Not Irving's nomenclature. The nomenclature. That's what it's called.
Okay. I did 4 plate on the leg press. And here's the thing. I did a high number of reps. I could have gone 5 plate.
Nice.
Yeah, I could have gone 5 plate.
Well, yeah, there's some joke that what's his name there? Dom on Bro Science Life makes. That once you start getting leg press up, there's no maxing it out. You can always go up 1 more plate, because it's only like at a certain point it becomes 2% added weight. How could you not lift 2% more?
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a hard weight, but I did not high enough reps that I probably could have done another rep or 2. I had probably 2 or 3 reps in reserve at that weight. So I'm like, I could probably do another plate. I might not do the same number. I wouldn't do the same number of reps. But no, walking today, I'm like, yeah, I can feel that in my hamstrings for sure. Yeah. Why do they call it a bench press when we never compact benches? It's just some dude lifting weights.
Yeah, I do my leg press all screwy, and I don't move a lot of weight. It's terrible. There's like some 90-pound chick that's moving like twice as much weight as I am.
Why is that? Why do you do that?
Because I take off the bottom, right? The machine bottoms out, but there's like a safety lock to stop it from compressing a certain distance. And I'm fairly flexible, so I'm sitting in the leg press upside down almost. And then I slowly bring the weight down till my knees are literally touching my shoulders.
Got to be careful though, because you can really fuck up your lower back if your butt's not in the chair or on the bench, the seat, whatever, properly.
So because I'm doing it slowly and with a lighter weight than I hypothetically could move, my back's okay. I'm actually just getting like a nice good stretch out of everything. But and I do them super, super slow and controlled.
Yeah.
But it's pathetic. It's like 2 plate is my heavy set.
Oh yeah. And speaking of Wag Me, I took the plunge and I downloaded the RP Hypertrophy app. This is the app that Mike Israetel, I was always shilling on his Renaissance Periodization YouTube channel. And I'm like, see, he's a tricky son of a bitch, that muscle-bound Jew. He he did a video where he was showing how to build an exercise routine in the app. And he started going over all the features of the app. And he started showing how easy it was to modify your exercise. He started showing how if you do an exercise, like if you do a mesocycle on this app, right? And then after you do you do that exercise, and the set, your second set or whatever, like if you do for 2 sets or 3 sets, when you finish the set on that, your sets on that exercise, it asks you, how did that feel? Do you have any pain? You know, blah, blah, blah. Are you feeling any fatigue right away or whatever, right? And then it will adjust the exercise next time you come back to it based on what you said. So it'll maybe give you more reps, or it'll give you fewer, like it'll say drop the weight by 5 or whatever. Or it'll say, oh, you didn't feel any pain at all? Raise it by 5. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, that's really clever. Anyway, so I took the plunge, I spent the money I didn't have, and I bought the app. And next week I'm going to start using it in earnest. So, and the cool thing is when you do it, when you build a routine, you can say, okay, it'll say, how many weeks do you want to do this routine, including your drop load, your deload week? And you say 4, 5, or 6 or whatever, right? And then it basically builds out what you're doing each week for your exercises. And the first week you're doing it 3 reps in reserve. Second week, 2 reps in reserve. Third week, 1 rep in reserve. Fourth week, 0 reps in reserve. And then your 5th week is your deload, 8 reps in reserve. And I'm like, that makes it so fucking simple. I don't even have to think about it, right? So, and then it'll adjust that based on how many reps you do. Because when you first set it out, you might you'll go, okay, I'm going to do dumbbell bench press incline, right? And I'm going to do 50 pounds in each hand, right? Okay, so 250. And then I'm like, okay, I can only do 6 reps on this before I fail, right?
Right.
So it knows the first week I did 6 reps on that when I failed. So it knows that that's with 3 reps in reserve. If I'm working on 3 reps in reserve, and it knows I'm going next week to 2 reps in reserve, it'll increase my expected reps to 7, and so on and so forth. So it's like, it basically thinks for you. You don't have you see a lot of guys at the gym, they've got like a little book and they're writing down what they did. This thing fucking is your book and your computer, and it does it all for you. It's really clever.
I keep it all in my head.
Yeah, no, you can do that, but it's just week to week. It might become difficult to remember. How many reps did I do last week on this weight? You know what I mean? Like,
so, okay. I do 5 sets of everything.
Yeah.
Whatever it is I'm doing, basically. At least for my big compounds, like smaller stuff like bicep and tricep and shit. I might not do 5.
Yeah.
But the first 2 typically are warm up.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you took some of my advice where you push a little more weight because you can, right? And it was time.
Yeah.
I've actually stopped reaching for just push more weight and went back to focus on form and control.
Right.
And I think that's paying off. So, you know, there is a right moment to increase weight and a moment where, oh, geez, yeah, I can do 3 reps of this, but what fucking good is that?
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's a new weight.
It depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to get muscle endurance, then you do 5 sets at 8 reps. But if you want to get hypertrophic, you go a higher weight and you do only 5 reps. You know, and maybe you only do 3 sets of 5 reps, and maybe the third set is only 4 reps because you're really stretching those muscles and hurting those muscles because you're doing a much higher weight. So yeah, so that's what I did this week. I did actually, it wasn't an incline bench press, but dumbbell bench press. It was a decline. So it's a very minor decline, 50 pounds in each hand doing a dumbbell bench press. So I could probably go higher because I was able to get to 10 reps on each of them. So probably go to 55.
Sorry, that be that as it may, but you guys are lifting weights with those imaginary metric units, so it doesn't count.
No, we do it in Imperial. We do it in Imperial because for weightlifting, it's all pounds. Everybody does pounds.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no. What was I? Yeah, I'm finding the really slow negatives are super helpful with like understanding what muscles I'm doing. Like, what they call it mind muscle connection, I guess, right? If you want to be, kind of, what's the word? You want to be pretentious about it, but also, like, I did martial arts the first half of my life.
Yeah. I've never been athletic before now at all.
But slow and controlled movement is basically what we did for 17 years, right? Like, and it's like, oh, why am I just throwing the weight up? Because I can throw the weight up. No. Go a little bit lighter, get it up clean, and bring it down clean. And to the point where, like, I can do pull-ups. On a bad day, I can do 5. On a good day, I can do 8 or 9. But I've been using the assist.
Yeah.
Because now I can do pull-ups all the way to my chest and super slow down. And it's so much like, you think, oh, why not just use the cable pull down wide bar? It's a different movement. It's not the same thing.
Yeah,
right? With the cable pull down, you can like lean yourself back and sort of tug at it to get the weight moving and then use momentum. You can't do that when you're hanging from the bar.
No.
You see those idiots in fucking CrossFit where they have this weird like rolling motion where they're yanking themselves up. It's like, I don't think that's doing anything other than risking your neck, like literally the way their head is moving.
No, I've been watching a few videos, and apparently if you want to increase the number of pull-ups you can do, hang for 30 seconds before you start doing pull-ups. Just hold on and hang. And that will help you basically activate your muscles so that you can complete more pull-ups, you know.
And then there's the other thing, negatives.
Yeah.
You can't do a pull-up, like jump or get a chair and get yourself set in a pull-up position and then get off the chair and slowly lower yourself down as slow as possible. Keep doing that and suddenly you'll be doing pull-ups. Doesn't really take that long. And that's why those slow negatives are so like, fuck, it's crazy. I even, I've thrown in for back exercises, the straight arm push down.
Yep.
And now that I have the right tool and the right like form, I was like, the first time I tried it, I was like, oh, well, not the first time. I tried them previously, and I guess I was doing it wrong, or I wasn't using the right tool. It didn't feel like anything in the lats. Then I had my hands on something, and I felt my lats engaged, just turning my hands like instead of straight like this, my hands turned this way a touch. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that next time. Put on like, I don't know, 20 pounds, set myself up, could feel a stretch in my lats and went, okay, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, because I'd never worked them that way before, like in that direction. And it's all in my head, but it actually felt like my back was getting wider while I was doing it. Like, it was like, it's fucking crazy. It's my new favorite exercise now. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's another thing I want to sing the praises of with regards to the RP Hypertrophy app. So the cool thing is, I'm doing the Superman routine that was Mike Isabel talked about a few weeks ago.
That's what I was going to ask you. Does it build you a program, or it asks you like to build your?
You can build your own, and you can say, here's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on upper body, with chest is my main thing, right? And then you can say, pick my exercises for me, and it will do it. There you go. And then, so for instance, one of them is dumbbell lateral raise, super range of motion, right? I'm like, okay, well, what does that look like? There's a little icon that looks like a YouTube icon. You press it, and it says kids
super range of motion lateral raise.
It's him fucking and his
dumbbells.
Kid doing it.
Jared is going to make sure to keep his grip relatively neutral, but at the end of the day, it's whatever's comfy for the shoulders. He's really going to do a normal lateral raise, but he's going to keep going until he gets sky high and extra controls the eccentric on the way down. No swinging, all shoulders, and then super slowed control all the way down in the eccentric.
So it tells you what you need to do and how to fucking do it, as opposed to just being like, you know, a GIF that's like 3 fucking frames of the movement, right? And I'm like, this is so helpful, man.
That one in particular, though, I don't get it.
The super range of motion lateral raise.
Yeah.
I think it just activates more of the shoulder. That's what it comes down to. Like if you just do a regular lateral raise, you're doing the middle head of the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
When you start moving it up like this, you're hitting the back and the front a little bit too. And especially when you control the eccentric, the idea is you're hitting more of the shoulder. I don't know, but
I just superset with flies.
so the cable flies like this?
No, rear delt flies.
Oh, okay.
So yes, for my lateral raises, I steal a fucking bench so that I can immediately sit down, fold my chest across my knees, and do rear delt flies. Yeah. Yeah, and I never do.
I like the cable fly machine, quite frankly. I just like it.
Yeah, there's the one with the bar, not cables. I mean, I guess it's on a cable, but
the butterfly machine where you sit on it one way and you're doing front, and you sit on the other way and you're doing your back, right?
Yeah. But that machine's far away from where I go, and I knew about dumbbell rear delt flies since I was a kid. So,
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this next week and then tracking my progress and seeing how I'm doing. My idea is I want to get hypertrophic, right? I want to build a bigger chest, and I want to build bigger shoulders, and I want to build bigger back. Those are my big 3 muscle groups that I want to focus on getting bigger. So this one, I think I told you about. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or day 1, day 3, day 5. It's upper body. Day 2 and day 4, it's legs and arms, because they're not the focus. So
right.
So, and then I've got enough time between where my legs can, recoup. And the leg exercises are not they're not all, high bar squats. They're a mix of shit, so that the legs are getting exercise, but you're not doing the same repetitive motion or hitting the same muscle groups every time you're doing your legs, right? So, yeah.
Well, shit, I can show you mine. Because I wrote it down like a twat. I don't know, because sometimes I forget I'm on 4chan.
You go to the fitness board on 4chan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Dude, I love protein. Yeah, protein.
And people are like, post your workouts and let people judge them. And so I had written it all out, and then I didn't. So I'll share it here, though, because you guys are all my friends, and you won't make fun of me.
I want to grow up to lift like Craig. Right now, I eat cookie. Yeah, today I did not. I was supposed to go to the gym today, and I didn't because I have friends in town. So and I was a little indulgent. Oh, that's nice. Back, bicep, A. 5x8 to failure. Is that what F means, to failure?
Yeah. So that means also at least 8, right? So I'm not going for my max weight where I can move it like 3 or 4 times. Haha. Even in the fifth set, I'm getting, usually it's an 8th rep, and the 9th one I can't complete.
Do it. Yeah.
And then I go for a 10th one anyway, which is like a quarter of a movement, and drop it as slowly as possible, right?
You know what? I'm looking at your arm exercise there, your hammer curl and strip curl. Because I have like golfer's elbow, I cannot do anything but hammer curls. Anytime I try and put my arms like this, my fucking elbows just they are racked with pain.
Have you tried rotating on the way up? Because that might be different.
So starting in the hammer position, then rotating when I get up here?
Yeah, like as it passes the halfway point, you
start. No, I've not tried that. I've not tried that. All I know is that if I put my hands in this position when I'm doing bicep curls, this right here is like it's on fire. It's like somebody's punching me in the elbow, and it's like
your arms really shouldn't be like that when they're below you.
Yeah. Well, so no, but that's I'm using dumbbells, so I can put my hands in the more the more comfortable position. But as soon as I start trying to lift them, that's when the pain hits. So
fucking based.
I just curl an M2 Browning receiver. Good on you.
I'm not sure you want to say 17 years is half your life. Yeah, it's less than half my life.
He's just a kid. Irving Twin's just a kid. I'm the old man in the room. Used to be called Old Man Fitness, this part, but he changed it out of respect for me.
Hey, look, when it comes to exercise, we're in the same age group. Okay, we've got to take the same precautions.
I don't know about that, man. You said you did martial arts for half your life. until a year ago, I was a sedentary, flabby man. The only thing that kept me thin with my youth was my metabolism. But I've never been an active person. I've never been involved in athletics at all. And yeah, it's only a year ago that I started actually exercising to any degree.
Oh, okay. But let's move on here. Back bicep B. This is my funnest day. And keep in mind, A and B aren't really like, oh, I alternate each week. It's just like I have one or the other that I could do.
Right.
Sometimes it depends on how I feel. Sometimes it depends on, oh, it looks like those machines have fewer people lined up to use them. So I might actually do that one instead.
Right.
And honestly, the getting at the pull-ups and the straight arm push down is a lot easier. So back and bicep B day has been my go-to, and I'll switch the curls up, right? But yeah, like have you done curls on a cable?
Curls on a cable. Yes, I have.
It's fucking wild, eh?
Yeah.
Like it oh,
like you mean with the pulley at the bottom, like at the bottom or above you?
No, pulley at the bottom.
Oh no, I've done pull downs as a curl, like like a Mike Metzner kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, I do them from the bottom with the bent bar, so my hands are like, this angle instead of straight, right?
Yeah.
But fuck, like the constant tension all the way down, up, and like, because that's the thing about cables is like it's always pulling where like it's not gravity anymore.
Yeah.
So like,
well, it is gravity, but it's through pulleys. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Right. That like with just a dumbbell, depending on the angle the dumbbell is to your arm to the ground, it's different tensions at different times all the way up. Mm-hmm. But the cable is basically constant tension the whole from top to bottom.
Because when you're doing curls with a dumbbell, your forearm is acting almost like a lever to bring it up, as opposed to the curls where I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, they're fucking wild. Like the like I immediately feel like my bicep is gonna pop if I'm not careful, right? Like it's like, holy shit, that tension.
Well, that's why I stopped doing preacher curls, right? Because I saw a fucking horrible video of a guy's bicep like go and I'm like, oh my god, that looks fucking painful.
See, but part of that is they're doing them wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he let it extend to the point where he shouldn't, and it was more weight than he should have done too. So.
Yeah, they use too much weight, but the other thing is they start pressing down their elbows into the thing to try and make more leverage, but it's not more leverage, it's just more tension on the bicep.
Yeah.
So if they hadn't done that, the bicep wouldn't have popped.
Right.
Yeah, so just be careful. Don't hurt yourself.
Well, that's why I stopped doing preacher curls. So I'm like, I'm not going to let that. I don't want that to fucking happen. First off, I'm just starting out and my biceps aren't that strong just yet. I measured them the other day because my buddy was measured his and he says, yeah, I measured my biceps. It's, I think he said it was like 16 and a half or 16 and 3/4. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So I'm like, maybe I'll measure mine. So I got the wife to measure mine. Mine's only 50 inches.
15?
Yeah, 15 inches.
That's big, bro.
Around?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it.
Mine are like 12, 13 maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Those are bigger.
No. See, but you're a big dude.
Yeah, that's true. I'm tall. I got bigger body. Metric system is for bullets, drugs and baking. Imperial is for bullets, beer driving, and putting a man on the moon. Metric is how water feels, and Celsius is how water feels. Fahrenheit is how people feel.
Have you seen the flow chart of how Canadians use Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. Or imperial or metric, yeah. But if you look, right, it's 5 or 4 exercises.
Yeah.
Right. Try and keep it really, really simple.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's I mean, that's what I'm finding. A lot of these routines are like, you don't need, like, unless you're going to do full body, but even full body, you should try and simplify it, right? With a lot of compound movements. But yeah, like all these exercises are like, no, you're going to do this exercise with 2 sets of however many reps, 3 in reserve, right? And then this exercise, you're going to do 2 sets of, 12 to 15 or whatever. And then another exercise where you're only going to do 1 set. Yeah. So it's like, so this Superman one, for instance, it's got 2 exercises for the chest, 2 sets for each exercise, 2 exercises for the shoulders, 2 sets of each exercise, and then 1 exercise for the back. This is on day 1, 2 sets of that exercise. And then it alternates what you're starting with on day 3 and day 5, so that every muscle group gets to start the exercise. And, 1 muscle group gets a bit of a rest. So by day 5, the chest is the one you're only doing 1 exercise for, because you've worked it out, with a total of 4 exercises with a bunch of reps on each exercise all week. So anyway, it's supposed to work. I don't know. Mike Ezertel sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Anyway. He's on a lot of gear though, so.
What's that? Sorry?
He's on a lot of gear though, so
everything. Yeah, he's enhanced, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and when you're doing gear, everything works.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, like the gear's doing all the heavy lifting, not you.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I just think it's, well, maybe. I don't know. I've never done it, so I can't say for sure.
Oh, no. I told you. I saw a guy who, over a period of like 9 days, visibly became larger.
Yeah, but is he stronger?
Yes.
Or his muscles just more swollen?
Oh, no. He's lifting more weight, and he is clearly bigger. But it's like, that's a weight gain that takes most people 18 months of hard training.
Right.
Like, he's on the gear.
On the gear.
He's on the gear.
He's enhanced. I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be back.
Yeah.
All right.
Shoulder, I don't have a B-side. It's always one. It's shoulder day is just shoulder day. I love it. Yeah, and after all the dumbbells, I go to the fucking cable machine and just cable my shoulders to death. Roids equals bigger muscles, weaker heart. Yeah, probably. I mean, especially over the long term. There are some people that have lived quite long and fairly healthy lives by really not abuse, like using the steroids is abuse. It's pretty dangerous, but they've made it like into their 70s and even their 80s, continuing to use steroids, like low dose steroids and shit, on semi-regular basis,
and smaller balls too, Nano Reaper.
Stop talking shit about Craig. He'll be back in a second. Yeah, he almost caught me, guys.
I heard you say older. Like, talking about my age again.
Nah. You got to get on that TRT. Low dose.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like rub androgel all over my fucking body. I don't want to piss off. I don't want to piss off Pock, so I'm gonna mute myself while I eat my grenade energy bar.
Go for it. Shoulder day. Shoulder day used to be my favorite day, but now it's back day. I love back. I don't know why. I think it's because I can actually feel my lats now. Like I realized for so long doing all those back exercises, I didn't really feel it, and one day I did, and now it's like, especially with that straight arm push down, that thing is wild, man. Oh, it's so crazy. And 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 days until publication. Just send me a link. I'm buying a copy.
I find I feel my back after I've done back workout. I put my hoodie back on, like I have a zip up hoodie that I take off before workout, and then when I go back to my locker, I put it back on. I definitely feel my back after I've worked out back. When I put on clothes and they feel tighter on my back, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. What else? For shoulders, last couple of days I've been at the gym. I was doing lateral raise drop sets. So I started the heaviest weight I can do, which is typically 15 pounds. It's heaviest weight I want to do, 15 pounds in each hand. And then I'll do as many reps to failure, and then I'll drop immediately, like without any rest whatsoever. I'll drop to 12 and a half. And then same. When I start to fail, I drop to 10, and then 7.5, then 5. And by the time I get to 5, I'm doing like maybe 8 reps of 5, and it's fucking killing me.
Yeah.
But and hopefully that makes a difference. I mean, I don't see it just yet, but who knows?
I do that with the cables at the end of my shoulder workout because I have like a dedicated shoulder day, right? So yeah, overhead press, lateral raises and rear delt flies, superset. Then some shrugs because, got to do shrugs. Then I go to the cable machine.
Shrugs are for what? For this part here?
Yeah.
See, that's the part where I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm actually quite pleased with the shape of those particular muscles.
Holy shit! Don't move. Stay exactly where you were. It's happening, Craig.
What do you mean?
It's happening.
What do you mean?
You are in the process of achieving your goal. I can see it in that well-fitted shirt.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is these particular muscles, my shoulders, they feel good. Like, and they look good. When I look at them, I'm like, yeah, those are good. It's this part I want to get rounder. I want the bolder shoulders, as they say.
So overhead press is going to help with that. And yes, your lateral raises are going to help with that.
Yeah. I like the machine overhead press. I just find it, I don't know, it's more comfortable. It's an isolation exercise, right? So why not make it comfortable?
What is this? Skyocavernosis and bulbospongiosis is my favorite muscle group to work out. Ischiocavernosis.
Is that like in your cloaca area?
He's turning into Canada Man right before our eyes. I'm not kidding, man. Right? You sat like that, and there's a definite V happening in your torso. Your traps are coming down in an upside down V. Your shoulders are broad. It's happening. You're watching it happen.
Not there yet, but yes, I'm getting there.
We're all gonna make it. You're fucking getting there.
Yeah, that's what it says right here. We're all gonna make it.
Well, my wife is my workout partner, so you do the math.
I'd love to get the wife to come to the gym with me, but she's so far been very reluctant.
You know what? It's funny because weightlifting is good for everyone. Unless you have like, isn't it stupid? The kind of world we live in where you have to preface everything. Unless you already have some kind of fucking injury or something like blah, 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 or some disability, yada, yada. Yeah. Okay. And even if you have some disability, as long as some part of you actually physically works, put some weight on it and move it around, that's better than not doing that.
Did you see this transformation from this guy who was like, he was disabled? He'd done something to his back or his spine or something, and he couldn't move without 2 crutches. And he worked at it for like a year, 2 years, whatever. And then the guy was like crazy fucking flexible. Like, and he lost a bunch of weight and he'd gotten really ripped. Some Asian dude. I'm trying to see if I can remember his name. Anyway, he did one of those YouTube montages where he just showed his progress over the course of a year or a year and a half or whatever. And he went from being this lump of flesh on crutches, long hair, unkempt and whatever. And then by the end of it, completely different person. He was seriously injured. He couldn't walk without these crutches. He had those crutches that wrap around your arms. He had to walk with these crutches.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, he didn't need the crutches. He could do all these crazy fucking flexible moves. And I'm like, man, good on you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
There's no reason for somebody who, even if they're injured, to say, what do you want me to do? I got a busted whatever. Keep moving. You're like a shark. You stop moving, you die.
I saw a one-armed guy. It took him, like 12 months, but he kept practicing the movements, kept practicing all the lifts.
Yeah.
His
arm grew back.
No, he did a clean and jerk. One plate. Grabs the bar by the center.
Yeah.
Yanks it up to his chest and squats under it, and then throws it up one fucking armed.
Good on for him, man.
Yeah, like it's right. And the whole fucking gym cheered for him when he did this. He was that. If he could clap, he would have. That's pretty good.
What's the sound of one hand clapping?
Oh, and then is it one of those like Tough Mudder competitions?
Yeah.
There's all these chicks. They got to run through the fucking mud puddle up to the wall, and they're helping each other over. This guy, one arm, and one of his legs is that fucking run blade.
Yeah.
Right? The girls are like 2 and 3, 2 girls trying to hoist this girl up while the one at the top is trying to drag her over. He jumps up off the blade, grabs it one-armed, one arm pulls himself up and crawls over unassisted. And all the girls are going, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? But if you tell a woman that, if you say to a woman that, or if a woman tells you, no, I could beat a guy easy. Like, no, you really can't. I'm sorry.
Hey, you can be a guy, but trust me, it's not easy.
No. Well, there's Tim Pool was talking about this last week, right? So there's this girl who's like, she's a model, but she's also a martial artist, and she's really good with the staff.
Yeah.
So she's doing all this shit with the staff, and then of course the things are like, it was referring to that bear thing.
Yes.
Bear or man, I'm safe. I know how to deal with it, kind of thing. Right? I can deal with myself. And then people started saying, well, yeah, but we don't care how skilled you are. If a man gets a hold of you, he will destroy you. Because, and so Tim Pool was saying, basically, even an unskilled man, if he's got the weight on her and he's got the reach on her, he's going to beat her up. It's like that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Brad Pitt and Bruce Lee are fucking trading barbs back and forth. And Brad Pitt finally says, I think you're a little man with a big mouth and a big chip. And I think somebody should knock it off your shoulder or whatever, something like that, right? And Bruce Lee's like, my hands are registered as deadly weapons, meaning if we fight and I accidentally kill you, I go to jail. He's like, anybody fights and accidentally kills somebody, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter. And then they fight, and Brad Pitt just fucking owns him because he's got a foot and a half on him, and he outweighs him by like 50 fucking pounds.
Yeah, so I do have some contentions with this.
Because you're a former martial artist. I understand.
Because I've seen it.
Yeah, but Bruce Lee was supposed to be the best there ever was.
Right, but that didn't actually happen.
No, that didn't actually happen. But Bruce Lee, for all his skill, okay, didn't have the power of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Remember when he fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in one of those movies?
Sure. Again, that was a movie.
Right. And Bruce Lee won in that movie. In reality, if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wanted to body slam him, he would have body slammed him. Because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the weight and the reach on Bruce Lee.
You still have to know how to fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
like Conor McGregor is what, like 5'8", 145?
Yeah, but look at his fucking head, man.
Sure.
Again, he's got a head and a neck like a tree trunk. He's built different.
Okay, so let's take, like, I don't know, pick a bodybuilder who doesn't train fighting. That bodybuilder is going to get the shit kicked out of him. And we've seen it before over and over again that the 300-pound bodybuilder challenges the 150-pound Olympic wrestler, and the Olympic wrestler is manhandling the bodybuilder.
Right, because he's skilled, right? Sure, I get it. But I'm talking about, we're talking about men and women, though. Okay, men have greater muscle density, greater bone density, greater weight, greater reach. 95% of men can beat 95% of women.
I'll give you 75-75.
I don't know, man.
Especially if you want to include people that are legit trained in combat.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm not saying you take 100 men and 100 women, and 95 of those men are going to beat 95 of those women. That's what I'm saying, is that overall, given the population, if you have a really skilled woman, okay, like really skilled, like this girl with the bow staff, okay, and she goes up against a guy who outweighs her by 50 pounds and has a 1.5 foot reach on her, because she's a little girl. She's like 5 foot nothing, right? She's small. Okay. If she didn't have the staff, and even if she did have the staff, let's say, because the staff she was using in that one wasn't a combat staff, it was a hollow aluminum tube. Okay. He hits her with a hollow. She hits him with a hollow aluminum tube. He'll grab the tube, or he'll block the tube, and then he'll push her in the chest, and she'll fall down. That's what's going to happen.
Except he has to be somewhat trained to be able to do that.
I don't even know he has to be that trained, because even if she hits him with the hollow aluminum tube, she can't hit him with enough force for it to actually have a great even if he just, instinctively blocked it, he's not going to be dazed by it the same way, a woman of her size would be hurt by it. That's what I'm saying. What about the gals with schlongs? Those are men.
I don't know. I should call up my old sensei, and we'll meet for coffee on Monday.
Look, I know your opinion from your own experience. I'm just looking at, like, I don't know. I'm looking at biology and basic physics is what I'm talking about.
Sure, but and don't get me wrong, right? We used to do sometimes like cross training with other dojos and other even different martial arts, where you invite students and teachers from another school to come here, and we're going to all work together. Not everyone trains martial arts for actual fighting.
Right.
Like you work your way up to a black belt and you've still never actually been in a fight.
Right.
Right. Where we trained like fucking like Tony Jaa, like we're out to hurt each other almost while we're sparring, right? And you got to remind people, calm down. Let's be a little careful, guys. Don't forget that.
Well, yeah, you could definitely hurt somebody for sure.
But you can also tell the difference that these it's a line of black belts. They get in the ring and we're moving to fight, and they look shocked that we're moving to fight. Right?
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. Because it's right. So if she has that kind of training, what you might call pretty martial arts,
right,
and no combat martial arts, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This girl, clearly she does a lot of flourish moves with her bow. Can she fight with the bow? Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah,
probably not.
Exactly.
Greater Ajax says, my sensei wouldn't even let a yellow belt male spar with a black belt female. Well, this is the thing. This is why men and women don't fight in the ring. This is why there's weight divisions even among men. You don't get a welterweight fighting a featherweight. You don't get a heavyweight fighting a featherweight, right? They break them down because they know that if one guy outweighs the other guy by 60 pounds and has 6 inches of reach on him, he's just going to get fucking clobbered. He's at a he's at a huge disadvantage. It's the same reason why golfers have, a women's tees and men's tees and
Sure.
PGA tees, right? So,
but I mean, all I'm saying is you can't underestimate, especially when people have actually had real good training. Again, this is like, 5'2", 100-pound chick.
Yeah.
Greg, she'll mop the floor with you. Like it would be funny if it wasn't for the fact that how badly you were hurt.
So
like
you think the woman. Now, that being said, no, don't get me wrong.
I don't know about that woman.
What's that?
I don't know about that woman with the staff.
Right. Okay, no. I'm sure you know some woman that is quick enough and skilled enough that she could probably take me out. I have no doubt. Like I said, 95% of men can beat 95% of women. I would probably, if I were to fight that woman, she'd be of the 5% that could probably take me out. But that being said, if I get lucky and I hit her with a solid right hook, I'm knocking her out. That's all there is to it, because I can hit harder than she can. But I'm not a good fighter. I don't know how to fight. But if I got lucky, or if I could grapple her and take her to the ground, now she might be able to get out of it if she knows judo, jujitsu, or whatever, right? But if I could take her to the ground and slam her to the ground, I could wind her. That's what I'm saying, and I could overpower her.
So I was sparring with her one time. All right. Sparred with her a lot.
Yeah.
She basically picked on me because I was much bigger than her and a very,
How tall are you? You're 5'10".
5'10".
Yeah, okay. And she was?
About 5'2".
Okay. All right.
And she'd basically pick on me and use me as an example.
Right.
And for a year, I didn't land a single attack. Not one time did I hit this girl for a year. Okay.
Right.
Now she's like a 3rd-degree black belt, and I'm her student, right?
Right.
Really, I'm her dad's student, but she's there and she's, Anyway, one time, just the way things move, I'm pretty sure I see the hole and I just throw my sidekick out. Now I'm desperate. Okay. This chick is just always beats the shit out of me. And so I am throwing this kick as hard and as fast as I can. And it goes right down the middle. And I hit her square in the center of the chest. And it was like kicking a brick wall. I knocked her back and she just said, good, and kept coming.
Yeah. Well, again, she's trained, right?
Yes.
She's of that 5% that'll beat most men. Right? She's trained. She's skilled. She's weaker. I'm just saying, okay, so she does that to you. Then she's at a biker bar, and there's a guy who's been street fighting his entire life. He's been part of the biker gang for the last 30 years, and he's 6'8" and weighs 280 pounds, and he's muscle and bone, and that's it. And he decides he's going to overpower her. He's going to overpower her. And he's not martial arts trained. He's fought on the street.
Yes.
He knows how to fight, is what I'm saying.
That's combat. That's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't underestimate her.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's also the woman's advantage. Right? Is exactly this. And they have about 3 seconds to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right? In the moments he's underestimating you, this is advice now for women in combat. In the moments that someone is underestimating you, go for the eyes, go for the throat, go for the crotch, be vicious, fight to kill. Every move should be to kill or maim your opponent, and do it all in 3 seconds. Because if you can, you fucking win, hands down.
Yeah. I was thinking of going for Krav Maga. Now I know that's supposed to be a ladies' martial art. It's
Krav Maga, no.
Well,
Krav Maga's what the Israeli forces.
It's Israeli, yeah. It's a Jewish it's Israeli martial arts where the IDF train. But I was thinking of doing it. People say it's a ladies' martial art because it's really focused on disabling, right? Disabling the eyes, disabling the throat,
killing me.
Yeah, landing blows that will disable your opponent so that you can either get away or subdue them completely. Right?
Yeah, like I think there's this idea, and this is true of other martial arts as well. Even when you're defending, why would you block the guy's punch or kick when you could attack the arm, attack the leg, right? Like go to cripple them with every chance you get.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
so
for the ring.
I was
it's
thinking
not a
I wouldn't
sport.
mind learning Krav Maga, and there's a place here in Burlington where they do something called Krav Fit, which is basically it's Krav Maga aerobic movements, right? So you're learning all the moves, but it's done in a way to burn energy, right?
It's
So
pretty martial arts.
it's pretty martial arts, right?
Yeah.
So you do the Krav Fit to get your heart rate up, to burn some calories, and then afterwards you take the Krav Maga class where you learn the actual fight. You stick around after the lights go out, and you say sensei or whatever they call it, Shlomo. Can you teach me how to fight, please? And then, all right, I'll teach you how to fight. How many shekels you got? And then you give him your shekels. Is that a hate speech?
It's all hate speech now,
It really is.
or it will be shortly.
6'8" roid raging demon is not something you ever wanted to piss off. No, it's true.
I mean, one of the things you got to look at, right? Like, is the original UFC.
Yeah.
I know it was boring as fuck, right? But 150-pound Hoist Gracie beat everybody.
Yeah.
He was beating 250-pounders because they didn't know how to handle it. Like they like, for all of their combat knowledge, and these are good fighters.
Yeah.
They just didn't know what to do with it, right?
Well, that's just it. And that changes the sport too. So when somebody starts employing a specific technique that sort of breaks down boundaries, people start employing that technique as well. It's why for a long time UFC and mixed martial arts always devolved into fucking ground fighting. Like it would be a bunch of throwing punches and kicks for a few seconds, and then eventually it's on the ground. You're on the ground and you're fucking wrestling, Greco-Roman style, and that's what it ended up turning into. And you're punching guys in the fucking. You're giving Charlie horses to try and fucking to subdue the guy.
The best techniques are passed down by the survivors.
My favorite martial art is learning to control your breathing and arms in order to hit a target with a firearm at less than 100 meters.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I can barely.
This is the thing. Like, okay, so back to the women and men thing. So you put up a skilled woman with a fucking rapier against a skilled man with a rapier, it's anyone's fucking guess. It's whoever's more skilled. Because it's not about force and it's not about power. It's about who knows better how to use that fucking sword. And who can, exploit the openings when they have the opportunity.
Ajax, you're probably right. But compared to a lot of those guys, he looked fucking tiny.
That's like Rogan, too. Rogan's not a big guy. But he's another guy, when he's just a commentator. But when he kicks a heavy bag, it's like, holy shit. That guy knows how to fucking kick.
He was like a 5-time state champ in Taekwondo, though.
Yeah.
Like he legit. I mean, in terms of sport martial arts, he fought, he won.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Wild West.
Now he makes millions of dollars doing podcasts and taking DMT. Living the dream, man.
Living the dream, man.
He's living the dream.
But here's the other. Yes, of course, right? Firearms exist, right? Swords exist, but firearms, swords and fists never really run out of ammunition. So
it's true, but
good to have it on hand, right? Better to need it and not have it, or better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
Yeah, but like we were talking before, if you can, Sarge, how come we got to learn to use a knife? Who's going to use a knife in a nuke fight? All you do is press a button. Put your hand on that wall. Prime it.
Yep.
If you disable his hand, he cannot press a button. Fucking great movie.
See, I don't think this is exaggeration at all. I think the man owns 100,000 rounds of ammunition.
Most people over the last few years have been stocking up on ammunition. Like a lot. Like buying barrels of the shit. Buying those big fucking Home Depot buckets full of fucking ammunition. Yeah. Her odds are probably better than like an MMA wrestling fight But don't forget the testosterone causing us to die earlier than women means we are physically wired better than they are. Yeah, we're biologically evolved to fight and kill and tear things apart. Knives are cool. Cool women with knives are cooler. Yeah, you must like Susu JPG Susu, right? You ever watch Susu there?
No.
You know who Susu JPG is? See if I can find her.
She's just a knife wielding titty monster.
Oh, she's her boob to arm ratio is like amazing.
I guess we gotta. I guess we gotta have a banner for it, right?
Here we go. Yeah, let me boob to arm ratio. There we go. Let me show you.
And what does she do? She throws knives. She plays with knives. She just shows up.
She has a lot of knife. She collects knives. She likes knives. But her main thing is she plays video games and she's cute as a button.
Oh, okay. But can she wield the knives? That's
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Grown men that you put like a knife in their hand and suddenly they look like 3-year-olds and like no motor skills and just everything goes out the window because they.
I don't know, man. I don't watch her for her knife skills. I watch her for her boobs.
Here we. Oh well, I mean, is this her with a knife?
That's not that bad. Fuck that. I'm a doom it. Hey, it's your do what you want. You know.
I've seen her before.
Yeah, that's Susu.
Someone in the chat said, "Are ya boobs really that big?" The way that they typed it, I couldn't help but read it with like kind of like a Scottish accent. Are ya boobs really? I don't know. It's like, what the hell? Like,
no, I think now I remember it. I remember where I've seen this chick. Someone in her comments said, "Let me smash" or something.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, what? You just gonna come to my house? Like, where? Where are you? How am I gonna let you smash? Yeah. Like, let's go, buddy. TikTok, it's fuck o'clock."
Yeah, she's funny. She's on MXR Reddit or MXR plays all the time. She goes on with Henry and Jeannie on MXR. I don't know if you watch that channel at all.
Nah.
They do basically react videos, but they're pretty funny too.
But nothing beats the thrown Mexican sandal. Yes,
it's the deadliest weapon ever.
As Six knows, the homing slipper, la chancla.
We've been talking about wag meat for a long part of this stream tonight.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean,
we went off on a tangent. But
yeah, the tangent really was lifting is good for everybody.
Yep.
And then we were like, but women are weaker than men. It's like, that's why they should lift. Right? Lift some weights, because if you get attacked, holy shit, at the very least, you have that element of surprise, something to back it up, and 3 seconds to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true. Everybody should lift. It's not going to hurt you unless you lift wrong and you lift too much. But even then, it's not going to kill you. It might hurt you temporarily. No, I agree. Everyone should lift, and women should be armed.
Yeah.
Whether it's with skill or a weapon of some sort. And the fact that women in Canada cannot carry a weapon for self-defense is criminal. Not legally anyway. Like tasers, pepper spray, all of these self-defense mechanisms, they're illegal in Canada. You can't have them. And you can't carry a firearm for self-defense in Canada. I saw a meme the other day that I shared in our group chat. It's like a guy made up of puzzle pieces, and he's missing one puzzle piece, and he's holding it in his hand, and it says Alberta, the missing piece, and it says open carry. I'm like, that's so perfect. I shared it. Let me see if I can find it here.
I literally had a conversation with a stranger today. Don't even know how the conversation started. But there we are chatting, and somehow it came up that I'd love to go to Texas. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, open carry? cheap property. Oh, I wish I could get there. It's like, yeah, I don't even mean to open carry. It's just nice to know that I could.
Yeah,
You know,
that's just it. Yeah.
it's fucking. Yeah, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd open carry.
Sometimes Albertans need just one piece, open carry. Well, that's, you know what though, I'm a firm believer that, you know what, like, do it if you feel you need to, right? Like if you're to live, I live in Burlington. It's a relatively safe area, but if Burlington's crime rate and it ever started getting really, really bad, you'd be damn sure I'm taking my guns out of my safe and I'm keeping them up by my nightstand, because then I don't have to worry about kids getting hold of them. I don't have to worry about my wife using it, and if she does use it, she's probably just going to use it to kill me. In which case, then she's got to deal with all fallout of that. But yeah, if I hear that my neighbors had a break in, and then there was another break in a street over, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start keeping my guns out. That's all there is to it, because I don't want someone coming in and killing me, killing my wife, killing my dogs, stealing my shit. And I'll deal with the consequences of it later. And if they say, well, why did you have it evilly stored? And I said, because there's been 4 break-ins. I'll say, because there's been 4 break-ins in the last 2 months in this neighborhood, and I'm not going to become a victim. So go fuck yourself.
No, yeah.
Hard nigger faggot.
What was the police advice for all the break-ins and stolen cars? Leave your keys close to the door.
Oh, fuck them. Those cocksuckers. Yeah. Don't put your keys in the what do you call it? The Tesla cage, the Faraday cage. Don't put your keys in a Faraday cage, because they just want to break in and steal your car. So just leave them out so they can grab them. What they would rather do is spoof your keys. That's why they're saying don't use a Faraday box, because they're trying to spoof your key. If you leave it outside of a Faraday box, they can spoof it and steal your car without ever having to come into your house. But if you put it in a Faraday box, they're going to bust in to get your keys.
Yeah. Open carry should never be outlawed, but as a tactical thing, you never want the perps to know you are armed. Now, hold on. I actually like the combo, because there are some people that they're armed, and others you have to assume they are.
No,
right?
You know what I would do? I would conceal my firearm, and I would open carry an airsoft gun. Yeah. I have an airsoft gun that looks very fucking realistic. So if somebody decided I'm going to take it from them and hold them up, then I'll pull out my concealed gun and shoot him. Officer, he pulled a gun on me, but you knew it was a fake gun. Didn't matter. He pulled a gun on me. His intent was to kill me. So, I mean, you would charge somebody robbing a bank with an airsoft gun with armed robbery, whether or not that airsoft gun could hurt anybody or not.
How would you holster your sidearm?
Oh, probably just on my side. I would just like
hip?
Literally on my side, on the hip. Yeah.
I think I'd like thigh.
Like
a little low. Here? I have stupid long arms, right? So my arm would actually hang exactly where the butt of the gun is. So it'd just be like.
Then it becomes about whether or not it's going to get in your way. So if it's down here, it means that if it's up here, your hips are seldom gonna hit anything. But if it's on your leg, then you have to worry about your leg. You bang your leg into something, you bang your thigh into something. I don't know. I think on the hip would be easier, personally. I'd also like cross draw too, so I might have it on the front. On the front, like here.
Oh, see, I'd go under the shoulder, like.
Oh, that would be concealed, right?
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, if I were to do a concealed carry, it'd be cross.
Oh no, in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Let's make t-shirts that have built-in holsters.
I go everywhere with flares strapped to a vest. People get out of your way fast.
Oh, fuck. 3 o'clock. I like back 5 o'clock or so. Okay, so if you're carrying it on your back, it's set at 5 o'clock, and if it's otherwise, it's on your 3 o'clock. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. I have to get back to the range of practice. I haven't been there in ages.
The first time I fired a handgun at a target at 21 feet, I missed. I missed the whole paper.
No, I've done that. Yeah.
Like people,
you get rusty, man. You use it or lose it, right? So you get rusty.
people don't realize it's not easy.
No.
Like it really is a skill. When
10 yards is far enough that you could easily miss a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Easily.
Yeah, like it's
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It does degrade. But here, my hope is, like, I have guns because I'm in Canada. I have guns for the joy of shooting, right? So me not getting to the range to shoot is, it's only affecting me. My hope is to never have to use a gun for the purposes of self-defense.
Yeah.
One, it's not a legal option here in Canada, and two, I never want to be in that situation. So the skill, in terms of a life skill, is less explicit here in Canada for the purpose. I shouldn't say less explicit. It's less explicit in the sense of realistic practicality. How about that? Right? But long story being short, if I were in a situation where I needed to shoot, my hope is right now I'd be relying a lot on luck and any muscle memory I have from when I was shooting. But yeah, me being out of practice is really only affecting me. If I open carried, it would be a shoulder-mounted chassis holding M61 Vulcan supported by my mechanical exoskeleton. Fuck yeah.
So here's something interesting. Nano Reaper has guns because of hogs and coyotes.
Nice.
Let me ask you. I'm just guessing. I would bet AR-15 probably not quite enough firepower for the hogs, is it? You want something bigger, don't you?
No, AR-15 would be good for hogs.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Would a 223 be good for hogs? I don't know. You can use a 5.56 in AR-15, though.
Yeah, they're almost interchangeable, but one of them is more likely to jam going back and forth. I can't remember which is which.
Well, AR-15 is designed for the 223.
Yeah.
But it can shoot a 5.56.
Right, and you can put 223 in a 5.56, but one of those combinations is more likely to jam. Like it's going to jam at some point. I can't remember which is which.
Yeah, you might be putting a 5.56 in an AR-15. Yeah.
No offense, Squid. No offense.
Coyotes.
Squid coyote.
Normies think people who train to defend themselves train in hope of killing someone, but as you say, the truth is they train and hope they never. Yeah, my hope is if I ever have to pull a gun in self-defense, that just the act of pulling it, basically ends the situation. Somebody sees I have a gun and they go fuck it and they back off. That's my hope. If I have to pull a gun, I don't want to have to shoot it if I don't have to. But
yeah, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, and it's not something you want to occur, right?
No,
like it's
no. I got to show you my rifle. I never had a rifle until this one, and I love this gun. And I haven't even taken it to the range yet. I got to take it to the range because I got it just before.
That's something else
before COVID. Can I expand that?
And this is a blast. I haven't seen a furry from Finley in forever. What?
Afternoon, handsome. Oh, furry likes you.
Yeah. Well, sorry, we've become very anti all kinds of things. You might be on the list.
Was he Jewish?
But it is good to see you. Good to see you.
So this is my rifle, the Browning SA-22. It's a semi-automatic. It's been around since I want to say 1922. But it's 22 caliber, 22 long rifle, semi-automatic. See that little divot in the buttstock?
Yep.
That's where the rounds go in.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, it's a tubular magazine from the butt stop, from that part in the buttstock. You pull along sort of spring guide out of the back. You twist the thing. You pull a spring back, and then you load. I think it holds up to like 18 or 20 rounds or something like that. 20 rounds, and then you close it. You put it back and you close it. And then this little lever underneath right in front of the trigger guard, that little black thing right in front of the trigger guard,
Yeah.
that's your cocking mechanism. You cock that and it's now primed, ready to shoot. And then you shoot it till you run out of ammo. And the good thing is semi-automatic.
Wow.
And this thing here is actually a breakdown, a breakdown model. So there's a little knurled thing right before the first sight, the back sight, and you unscrew that, and it comes apart into two pieces. You can fit in a backpack. I love this gun. It's a beautiful looking gun. It's been around since 1922. Yeah, or 1922 or 1927. I can't remember when they first made it, but yeah, I love this gun.
A bullpup internal magazine tube, says 6.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. When you think about it, yeah, because it loads from the rear. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the action is in front of the magazine as opposed to
that wood is giving me wood.
It's pretty, isn't it? I should go get it and show it. Would it be in trouble if I showed it to you?
It reminds you have not. It reminds me of every the beginning of every good Western.
Yeah,
where someone comes out of their little farmhouse to their homestead with this rifle. That's strictly meant for fucking gophers. But now there's some sort of
it's a varmint gun, if anything. But it's also because it's a breakdown. It's kind of a survival rifle. Because if you had it in your backpack and you managed to get separated from your people out in the woods or whatever, you could use it to hunt rabbits or gophers or squirrels or whatever, and you'd be able to get yourself some protein, right? So, yeah, that's my most recent acquisition in terms of firearms, and I haven't shot it yet. I gotta go shoot it. Do you want me to go get it? I can get it on my safe. You can take a look at it.
No. Let's not fiddle with the safe right now.
All right.
We'll definitely we got to go to a gym and do some filming, and we got to go to a shooting range and do some filming.
Yes, yeah, we should.
We've been missing some serious.
You're right. Yeah, it's not technically a bullpup because the action. You're right. Is in front of the trigger. Yeah. But yeah. I like bullpups though.
It would just piss off a bear, says Nano.
Oh no, you wouldn't take it up. You might scare a black bear away just from the noise, but it's a 22, so it's not even making that much noise. I like bullpups for my airsoft guns. I have a P90 and I have an F2000, an HK F2000. They're both bullpups. I just like funky looking weird guns. That's just me.
I just want it to work. Maybe I'm a bit. Can you be a normie when it comes to firearms?
Yeah, totally.
Desert Eagle 45 ACP.
Fucking
that's normie as fuck. But goddamn,
so are Glocks, man. Oh fuck, man, I love me a Glock. Everybody loves a Glock. It's like a fucking Honda Civic. Honda Civic, man, all the way. Yeah.
But it's not because it's a Desert Eagle, or it looks that way.
See, now I'm into the meme guns. See, I like the Chiappa Rhino because it looks cool. I don't care that it's like ridiculously expensive for a revolver. I just think it looks really fucking cool.
Oh shit, gun normies are called FUDs.
Yeah.
So but hold on. What if there's
no, because FUDs believe that, well, I don't care if they take away your AR-15 because I still have my hunting rifle. That's a FUD.
Okay. See, because it's the why I like it. Okay, first off, you can't say Desert Eagle is not a pretty fucking firearm.
Good looking gun, yeah.
It is. It's like a super fast car with those aggressive lines and shit. Like it's just like, ugh. But that's not why I like it. Like I don't dislike that. Why I like it is the fucking sound.
Yeah, well, it's a 50 caliber, right?
No, but it's like this huge metallic clack. It's not a booming, low-pitched boom. It's this like wicked, like clack. Like it's like snapping your fingers, but imagine snapping your fingers meant death. Like it's fucking weird, man. And I just love the way it sounds. Like nothing sounds like that. There's no other firearm that makes a noise like that.
Here, I'll show you. So I'm into meme guns. That's why I like P90s and shit like that. I'll show you this this gun. This is on my list of guns I want to get, but I can't justify the price. They're just too expensive. They're like $1,000.
You can get Desert Eagle and Gold Tiger Stripe. That's why everybody likes. Hey, if I could get 2 of them, underarm holstered, and draw them like this, cross drop both hands and just start firing my Golden Tiger Stripe Desert Eagles. Fuck yeah! Clack, 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 clack. Oh, that's just it would be like a percussion symphony.
Okay, you want to show the picture I got here?
Yeah.
This is the Chiappa Rhino. Chiappa is an Italian firearm maker. They make great guns. It looks goofy, but I love this fucking gun.
It doesn't.
The barrel is under those little holes, so the barrel's on the bottom.
Yeah,
yeah. That's to avoid kick up when you have recoil. So the recoil comes into your hand as opposed to knocking the gun up. So you can keep your sight picture. You can keep it aimed much more quickly. You can recover aim much more quickly after shooting because it doesn't move up as much, right? So I love it. It's a great gun. It's a really good looking gun. I love it. But it's also like $1,200 for a 357 Magnum revolver, which is way too expensive. So I might, if I do buy a revolver airsoft gun, I might get a Chiappa Rhino just to have it.
Irving draws the guns, and I hear the theme from Max Payne 3. Hey, Max Payne was ahead of its time. Okay.
Yes, that's right. The Desert Eagle does weigh as much as it's a heavy fucking gun.
Yeah, what is it, like 6.5 pounds unloaded?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then 8 something when it's fully loaded. But this gun does not look weird. This gun looks sexy as fuck, but the wood stock looks out of place.
You think?
Yeah, it should just.
But revolvers typically they'll either have wood or they'll have mother of pearl or plastic that looks like mother of pearl.
If it had like a wood panel on, what would
like a rubberized tack bar grip or whatever?
Yeah. Like, yeah, it should be all. I think I'd like it a lot better if it was all one color. I think that stands out as a little.
It also comes in gold and silver, and I think they have like a blued gunmetal as well. Yeah, I just like it. I just think it's a cool looking gun. It's
fucking wild.
Decocking it is kind of it's kind of tricky because the hammer at the back there. First off, it's got a little indicator when it is cocked. It's got an indicator because you wouldn't know otherwise. But because the hammer goes back to position once you cock it. So when you decock it, you have to be careful because it's already in position. So
yeah, you got to check the indicator. Okay, yeah.
It's but no, I just like the look of it. That's just me. I like the look of that gun. It's a meme. People call it a meme gun though because it's goofy.
I don't think it's goofy. I don't. I appreciate that underbarrel idea. I think that's an
Italian thing too. Chiappa didn't invent it, but there was another gun called I want to say Morelli or something like that, or no. What's the other underbarreled? What?
Yeah, I think that's just good engineering. You know, like, I mean, apparently all these jokes about the Italians have never won a major war or mass-produced a decent car, but firearms, apparently they're real good at that, and no one seems to care.
No, they are good at guns. What the hell was it called?
Well, that joke about the Desert Eagle being so fucking heavy, it doesn't budge when you fire it. Like, it's so heavy, it holds itself exactly where you put it. Like, it doesn't fire back. Like, you know what I mean?
Underbarrel revolvers. What were they?
Matabu?
Matabu. That's it. Thank you. Thank you,
Nano.
Yeah, that's it.
Used in Blade Runner, apparently.
Yes, that was Decker's gun. Yeah. Decker's gun? Yeah, it was Decker's gun. Of course, Decker's gun was modified to look different, but yeah.
Well, it had to look like a dystopian future that we're living in
Right.
now.
And then there was Lamat too. Lamat made an underbarrel one, I think. Oh no, Labatt was not an underbarrel. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Rhino. I like there's a few I have my double action revolver I have is a Ruger what is it again now?
Nano has 2 in barrel Rhino.
Oh, do you?
Is that a color? I miss guns. Yeah, I think Furry's down under. And they took all the guns away.
Oh, no one. SP-101, that's what I've got.
You will never be able to buy Decker's gun. Tears in Rain. Thank you, Squid. That's beautiful. Lamont is known for revolver with 12 gauge underbarrel. A 2-inch barrel.
Yeah. The USA according to anime.
Like, oh fuck yeah, there was this. I'd use that as a. I called one of these shows "Be American." It's "Be the American" that Japanese anime writers think you are. Right, and this giant white guy is telling these Asians, "Now get out of my country." But sir, this is Japan. All countries belong to America. Now get out.
This is my Ruger revolver I have. This is the SP-101. It's 357. It's a five cylinder revolver. 5-shot revolver. I haven't taken that one to the range either. I need to take that one to the range. It's been ages.
So, for you revolver fans, I heard something very old school. I'm told it's old school. It's like like Wild West, American Wild West. 6 chambers in the revolver.
Yeah.
5 rounds.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Is that still standard practice today?
It's
yeah.
standard because you don't leave the hammer down on a chambered round.
Yes, exactly.
Because if it gets hit at the back, it will go off. So the idea is you keep one empty and you keep the hammer on that chamber.
Yeah.
And then when you cock it, it goes to the first.
That's right. Yes.
Loaded chamber. Yeah. Oh, you got some DMs from 6. Yeah, the minimum nano ripper, the maximum or the minimum length barrel you can have in Canada for any handgun is 4.25 inches. 4.2 inches, I should say. So that's why I was able to get the Ruger SP-101 because it's 4 1/4. So yeah, but I can't. We can't go snub nose. That's just not a thing in Canada. It's a prohibited device if you get a snub nose.
Oh shit! I was reading somewhere that a particular firearm, a handgun, very clearly a handgun. There's no arguing it. The USA according to anime. Shit. Should I actually pull it up?
Yeah, do it.
But it's a handgun. But the state of California, legally defined it as a short-barreled stockless rifle so that they could put more restrictions on it.
Yeah.
And legal definitions apparently are this great trick that California loves to use.
Yeah.
That they've actually managed to legally turn bees into fish.
For the protection of that species, or
I guess so.
Yeah,
it's very interesting that legal definitions somehow supersede reality, and I'm a little miffed.
That reminds me of neobiology.
Neobiology?
It was a buddy of mine in college came up with this, biological theory that was much simpler. It's basically there are only 4 different types of life on Earth, or things on Earth, basically. There were fish, dogs, birds, and dirt. So all life and things, as a matter of fact, can be categorized into one of those 4 things. Anything that moved on the dirt was a dog. Anything that moved above the dirt was a bird. And anything that moved through the dirt was a fish. And everything else is dirt.
Okay, so again, I have changed my mind about the death penalty. Okay, hold on. I found the thing that Six wants us to share. I hope the volume is not going to be too terribly high here. It's a short, so I can't restart it. I paused it, and we'll see what we get out of it here.
All right.
This is going to be.
Well, it'll replay though, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like we're ready. Tell me, Chad, if we get sound.
I hear no sound. You might have YouTube muted. Check to see if YouTube muted. Check to see if the tab is muted. Right click on the tab, Twin.
No, it's not muted.
Oh, I can't hear it.
That's weird because every time you share something, I hear it.
US according to anime. Everybody's fucking armed.
Just.
Oh man.
Just be the American the Japanese think you are. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Airsoft in Japan, where it started, is completely different from airsoft in America. In airsoft in Japan,
it's all Wild West themed?
No.
Oh.
There's no running. Can't run. I think if I'm not mistaken, there are minimum engagement rules. So you can't, no matter what type of gun you have, if you're within a certain number of feet, like if you're within a short distance, you're not allowed to shoot. You just have to say bang or you're dead or whatever. They're very, very strict. And they're gas blowback airsoft guns. So there's different types of airsoft guns. Gas blowback are ones that use green gas, we call it here. They have to use what do you call it? A lower pressure gas, which is the kind of air dust. They have to use duster gas. So those air dusters that are in a can?
Yeah.
They have to use that gas, which is much less much lower pressure.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just kind of humorous because the sport was essentially invented in Japan, right? But it's such a pussy fucking sport there versus North America. In North America, people are shooting like sniper rifles that are going 600 feet per second, and when they hit you, it really fucking hurts. Now there's minimum engagement rules for sniper rifles. You can't shoot a guy with a sniper rifle if you're within 30 feet of him. They have to be more than 100 yards away from you to use a sniper rifle. Because if you do get hit with one, it's like a couple of joules and it fucking hurts. Like it'll break the skin and everything, right? So anyway.
Okay, I was having this discussion with somebody and I realized I wasn't sure the ratio. Nano, I'm under the impression you're going to know this information that I'm about to ask. 10 millimeter better than 45 ACPs, which is better than 9 millimeter, which is better than 40 cal.
Right.
I believe you. How many per are snipers. Like,
how many per what? What do you mean?
Yeah. So you join the armed forces, and you know, wherever you're training, Army, Marine, whatever your branch, you're like are you rifleman. Everyone gets a rifle and a sidearm, right? How many are snipers? Is it 1 in 1,000? 1 in 10,000? How many people actually have that propensity and skill? Because I'm pretty sure you can't just teach anybody to be a sniper. Somebody has to already have something in them, and then you can make that into a sniper. And I'm convinced it's quite low. That like, oh no, not everyone gets a sidearm. Okay, sure. But everyone gets sidearm training, I imagine, where not everyone gets proper sniper training.
No.
And even the people who get the training don't all end up snipers, I'm sure. Like, you've got to pass your training. And I'm curious, what's the actual ratio? I would be surprised if it was more than 1 in 10,000. You know what I mean? That you've got, like, you know, thousands of troops out there and one sniper somewhere, and the bad guys don't know where that sniper is. Is he backing up this group? Is he backing up that? You have no idea, because when he fires, it fucking means something. Like, that one round makes a huge difference. You know what I mean? Like,
my guess would be that basically everybody goes through rifle training, and then the people who are conducting the rifle training find those diamonds in the rough where guys are like, they're hitting a target like consecutively really well from long distances, and they go, hey, let's get you into sniper program, and then they teach them to be snipers. And maybe they don't get deployed as snipers, but they might have the training anyway.
Sure.
Right.
Well, he says, again, I'm not getting the number that I want here. Snipers are highly specialized and are part of a special forces unit. They're less than 15% of the special forces unit.
Okay, and special forces are a small percentage of actual, troops, right?
So maybe I'm fairly close with the 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 20,000 kind of guesstimate, because it's a very big deal. Like,
sure,
it really is. It's something, and it's always that guy.
I haven't seen that movie, that American Sniper. I really want to watch it though.
Yeah,
every time I see little clips of it, I'm like, that looks really fucking good.
And you were saying there's that one guy, and it's always that one guy who grew up on the farm with no shoes, and he was just fucking pinging gopher heads from his porch at 7 years old because his dad told him he had to. It was like a chore. So now he's just great with the rifle, and now you put a fucking scope on a high-powered one. He's like, oh my god, it's easy.
Yeah. I've seen that one, that Count Dankula video, Squid, on White Death. Yeah. That was really good. Yeah. You ever watch Absolute Mad Lads on Count
Yes.
Dankula?
Yeah.
The White Death one was really good. Yeah.
And sniper training is as much about intel gathering as it is about shooting. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, makes
All
sense.
right, you've got that scope, right? You can see.
Yeah, you probably put your gun out and you hardly ever shoot. You're really
White Death is the Finnish guy, though, right?
White Death, I think so.
Yeah.
It's the one where him and another sniper basically shoot each other through the scopes. I think he shot a guy through the lens of his scope and got him in the eye.
That's just fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Koivu? No, that's a hockey player.
I don't remember. I was going to go out to play airsoft today. We had friends coming to town. There's a place in Oshwekin, which is near Brantford. So it's a reserve town that I played at before, called Warsoft Nation. I was going to go today and play airsoft. I am not a sniper when I play airsoft. I shoot my P90. I like my P90.
Snipers are deployed in two-man teams, spotter and sniper. And what's crazy is the spotter is just as good with the sniper rifle, from what I understand. The same way that, like, in two-man pilot teams for larger jet aircraft, like the F-14, the what was once called a RIO, a radio intercept officer. I don't know what they're called now. But the backseater, he's a legit pilot. Like, he can fly, but he's in the back seat, not flying, and basically just looking around and working the radio.
Well, yeah, because if something happens to the pilot, somebody's got to step in, right?
Yeah,
and
but
they can't be not as good, right? So. Oh, that was Enemy at the Gates.
Oh,
it was the battle of Stalingrad. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the guy shot the other sniper through the eye, through the scope. The White Death was involved in Russo-Finnish War.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Enemy at the Gates is an incredible movie.
I haven't seen
And
it.
oh, it's so good. Jude Law and Ed Harris. Yeah.
I think I've seen clips of that too.
It's a great movie. It's a wild movie.
The back seat is a backup cockpit. Oh, so it's got all the same instrumentation, probably.
Yeah, but like, you know, you spend your life training and then but the thing is you're not the second man. Like it's two things working together perfectly. Right?
Oh, like in Pacific Rim?
Hold on, wait. So I've been thinking about it. Pacific Rim, absolute garbage. Okay.
I've not seen it. I've only seen how stupid it is.
Yeah, it's very dumb. But also, it's that idea of power armor.
Yeah.
So, like, you're a fan of tabletop RPGs and mech stuff, sci-fi shit, right? Do you ever notice that in all of these mechs, the pilot is either seated like they're in a jet plane or standing with their legs down the legs and their arms down the arms?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way, especially if your mech is both humanoid mobile and can fly.
Yeah.
I think the way you would be in it is you'd be seated more like you were on a motorcycle. Right? With your knees bent and you're leaned a little bit forward.
See, I would think that the better way to do it would be for you to be piloting it remotely from like one of those 360-degree treadmills, so that every move you make on the treadmill is duplicated on the mech. That's my thought. Like, why be in a giant fucking machine that if it goes down, you're dead because it's falling 12 stories when you fall?
I'll tell you. And it should be armored and reinforced and shock absorption enough that you could fall 12 stories and it wouldn't hurt you.
Right.
You'd be shaken. You'd be winded. You might have like a concussion, but you're not going to break all your bones because you fell.
No, but you'd be trapped inside of this, 50-ton hunk of fucking machinery.
But you have to be. Because if you're, 3,000 miles away piloting this thing, there is a delay. There's a delay in the command input, and there is a possibility for intercept a signal and hacking.
Not if you have a quantum headset that's piloting it, that's connected to your brain, because then spooky action at a distance, what you think to happen to that mech 3,000 miles away is happening instantaneously, because the particles in your brain are moving in the same sequence with the particles in the robot brain of the mech.
I'm not saying the possibility of such technology doesn't exist. I'm saying the possibility of us building it doesn't exist.
Still light speed delay. There wouldn't be a light speed delay. There wouldn't be a light speed delay, because when they've done this spooky action at a distance, it is happening in synchronicity with what is happening. The one particle is moving in the same exact way as the other particle is moving, even though they're separate.
So they're not separate. I'll explain it. It's like, imagine you could only see the end of spaghetti. Right. So you can only see the ends of spaghetti. You can't see the spaghetti. You just see the tips.
Right.
So someone moves the whole spaghetti. Oh my God, spooky action at a distance. No,
right. There's nothing. There's no material in between. It's immaterial in between, right? The particles are separated. Even if they are connected, we don't, there's nothing physically between them.
But that's why we can't build it, because if it doesn't already exist connected like that, it can't be created. That connection isn't something we do. That's a fundamental
experiments with that have duplicated that function.
No, but they're just observing it. They're not creating the connection. They're not going, here's a magic 8-ball and here's a Rubik's Cube, and what I do to the Rubik's Cube is going to happen to the magic 8-ball. They just proved that the spooky action happens.
Yeah. But
right?
I'm saying if they
two
prove
things that are already there.
But I'm saying if they prove that the particles can interact that way,
right? But I can't build you a machine on one side of the world that does already have that connection to the other machine I built on the other side.
No, you would have to send that particle to. You'd have to put them both in a lab, quantum link them, and then send the one particle to the mech 3,000 miles away, and that particle.
Point being, you have to be in the suit, right? You have to be in it to pilot it, right? For best results.
Okay.
And what I was getting at was you'd be seated more like in a motorcycle.
I can see that.
Okay, because that way, small movements at your hip, knee joint, and ankle joints control the legs and flight systems, like thrust systems, right? Rather than your legs are straight and you're just walking around as if you were normally walking. No, fuck that shit. That's not going to work. Especially to fly. What are you flying with now? Your fingers? You using the fingers to control the flight? No. You have to be able to like tip your ankle to set off the jets, right? Or, heels down like you're in the saddle of a horse,
right?
To turn the jets off. And now you just sort of move your hips, your knees up and down to walk.
I still like the idea of a 360, what do you call it?
Heads-up display?
360 treadmill that is also a trampoline, so that when you jump, the retro rockets fire, so you can jump and go great distances. And the delay in the treadmill, delay in the VR room or whatever you want, the chamber, the operating chamber that you're in, is timed with the gravity on the planet that you might be fighting on, so that when you land, the jets stop firing. Or they're synced in such a way so they stop firing when you land on them.
Huge inefficient waste and always subject to cyber attack. That's what Nano was saying, and that's the major concern. This machine has to be air gapped. The only connection, there's no Bluetooth, there's no Wi-Fi. The only connection is standard radio. Just a radio signal.
That's fine. And I'm not saying it should be remote. I'm saying you could put that operating chamber in the machine. I just think you should be in a free-form sort of globe with a 360-degree treadmill that you use to run on, and then you're any action you make, basically you're in a VR room, but it's in the machine, it's in the mech. So we're having best of both worlds. We're in the VR room, in the mech, and that's operating the mech.
All I can think of is stop crying, Shinji. Oh, you want me to live with half-naked girls and pilot mechs for a living? I hate you, Dad.
Oh, Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Evangelion is so good. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I just love how the only people who can pilot these giant machines are 15-year-old girls.
There was a reason for it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason was that the people who put the fucking show together were perverts and liked drawing 15-year-old girls in their underwear.
Asuka is best girl.
You know what? I've only ever seen memes about Neon Genesis Evangelion. I've never watched it.
It's worth watching. It really is.
I'm sure it is. I hear it's great. Yeah,
it's so good. But again, same idea. They put them in like what looks like a cockpit fuselage.
Yeah.
Right, like very narrow. You're seated back. Your legs are almost straight and everything. And no, I don't think that's the best way. If you want to get a mech to move like a person, I think you have to be seated, like a bicycle, a horse, or a motorcycle, right? To get your best mobility, right? That the littlest movements now have bigger effects.
It's also twisted and sad, says
but it's also like deep and chaotic and meaningful at the same time. It's weird. And of course, it's perverted. It's Japanese, man.
Have you watched? Are you a fan of Samurai Champloo? You are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Have you seen another by the same group, same guys who did Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo? One called, I want to say it's either Space Dandy or Star Dandy.
Oh,
Space
that
Dandy.
sounds familiar, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, Space Dandy. It's basically it's kind of like Johnny Bravo meets Cowboy Bebop.
Awesome.
It's very goofball humor, and the character's kind of like a Johnny Bravo character, and also kind of like Lupin the Third, and also kind of like Spike Spiegel.
15-year-old girls are the most vindictive beings on the planet. I know I've raised 3 of them. You poor bastard.
Misato is best girl.
Space
Lady.
Dandy. Yes, says
Space
Lady.
Dandy. Yes, I was talking to AI the other day about anime, and it said, "Oh, if you like Samurai Champloo, you should check out Space Dandy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I said, "What's it about?" And it told me. I'm like, that does sound kind of interesting." And then I watched the trailer for it. I'm like, the style reminds me of Lupin the Third. The character reminds me of Johnny Bravo, but because it's in space and it's kind of like they're not really bounty hunters. There's kind of bounty hunters. It reminds me of Cowboy Bebop, but I think it's a little bit more whimsical.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, they start really strong.
Yeah.
They're gritty and hard.
Yeah.
And then about like 8 episodes in, they start going back and forth. One gritty, hard episode, one campy as shit.
Yeah.
And then with 2 or 3 episodes left, they rush to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like this could go on for 4 or 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, at episode 23, they're like, we're calling it 24, 25 over.
Yeah, pretty much. The one thing that I like Samurai Champloo as a series. I thought it was really good. There was one episode that I was like, what the fuck, man? Why am I watching them play baseball with Americans? I'm like, I have no, like, this
When
makes
the episode prior, there was 3 assassin samurai who were hard as shit with the crazy
hats. And I'm like, why? And now all of a sudden they're playing baseball with Americans.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, what the fuck, you know? I'm like,
yeah.
And then Cowboy Bebop is another one of those anime. Like, I like anime, but I always get turned off when there's a character that just acts so manic that they just annoy the shit out of me. Like, fucking Thundercats is cool except for Snarf, right? So Demon Slayer is great except for that fucking blonde kid who goes completely fucking manic. And then same goes for Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop's great until Ed comes along and fucking makes it all goofball. And I'm like, why? Like, why do you need a comic relief character? You know what I mean? Like, just make it good. That's the thing I kind of like. Yeah. That's what I kind of like about. And I know you said you haven't seen it yet because you're avoiding it. Blue Eye Samurai is really fucking good.
I'm just a little,
You're gun shy. I get it.
We'll get into that for a second, but I do want to address this. Afro Samurai is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it is a good show. Yeah.
It's like there's no fat on it. Even fucking like Ron, I fucking hate Ron Perlman, the person. His portrayal of that ultimate villain, is like one of the best performances I've ever seen. Not just or heard, really, right? Not just his performances, all performances. Yeah. Like, it's so good, and it's so well written. And he's doing such a great job of delivering these lines that are written for him. Samuel L. Jackson, the calmest role he's ever played. Never swears once.
Yeah.
My only aim is to move forward. Like, what? Yeah, it's really good. It's up there, man. And it's all of 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's not a very long series.
Yeah, they tried to do a second season. I couldn't get through it. It wasn't the same. Yeah. It didn't hit that way.
I'm watching the second season of the Wing Feather Saga on Angel Studios.
Oh yeah,
it's so good, man. Like, and the thing is, it's lighthearted, but it's also fucking dark and gritty. It's juvenile fiction, in the spirit of kind of like a Harry Potter kind of thing, but it's dark. Like it's like got some really mature themes, and it's really well animated. I recommend, like, I'm not a Christian, Twin knows that, but Angel Studios, Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Angel Studios puts together some really good shit. If you go to Angel Studios, they have a streaming service. You can subscribe to it, or you can watch all their shit for free too. You can download it and watch it for free because people who are paying for Angel Studios, they do a thing called pay it forward, and basically they put a donation down, and that allows somebody without a membership to watch the shit, which is really smart. It's kind of neat.
Oh,
So yeah, I recommend getting the program. You can watch Song of Freedom on that. That's that movie about the guy who hunted down child traffickers and freed a bunch of kids.
oh yeah. Jim Caviezel, right?
That's on Angel Studios. There's another series called The Shift, which is basically a modern sort of dystopian retelling of the Book of Job. And it's worth watching. It's good, and it's good, well acted and stuff. So yeah, Angel Studios. Go ahead and download it, or download the app on your Roku or your smart TV. It's worth getting, if only for Wingfeather Saga. Wingfeather Saga is an animated series they put together that's really, really good. It's the retelling of the Book of Job. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, basically this guy has everything taken from him, and he maintains his faith essentially the whole way.
Blue Eye Samurai.
Yes, Blue Eye Samurai.
Okay. It's not that I don't trust you. It's that sometimes we've been at odds with what we enjoy watching. Like, there's very few things that I have not been able to finish when it comes to visual entertainment, right?
Yeah.
But 30 minutes into that movie, 30 Days of Night.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, fuck this piece of shit, and turned it off.
But the comic book is good.
Okay. The movie didn't do it justice then.
No, it did not.
Right?
Then also the comic book is very, very stylized. So if you liked the comic book, you're not going to like the movie, because nobody could make a movie that did it justice unless they did an animated movie of 30 Days of Night in the same style. So
that's why Basilisk is wild.
I don't know if I've ever seen Basilisk.
And why Basilisk proves that animation will always have a place, no matter how good like live action and CGI combos get worked. Like, animation can do things that you just can't do. But we'll circle back to that. Okay.
Don't trust him. I don't trust either of you. I think you're both sus. Yeah, we probably
a little bit. Yeah, because I'm drinking too, so bear with me. Yeah, so Blue Eye Samurai.
Yeah.
This made up story of a woman samurai.
Yeah.
That also is half white.
Yeah. She hides that she's a woman though for like the entire fucking series.
And she also hides that she's half white by covering her eyes.
Legendary. So in this particular storyline, and I think this is keeping with history. Japan was very isolationist and did not want Caucasians in their midst.
Nobody didn't want anybody. Yeah. I imagine it's the Sengoku period, or just following the Sengoku period.
So people with blue eyes were European, and they hated them with the passion. But then there's this person, this wandering out of the wilderness, who's a kick-ass samurai. And they just so happen to have blue eyes, right? So she's a half-breed, right? She's half Japanese, half Caucasian. Anyway, like I know it sounds like the premise sounds kind of stupid, or it sounds kind of contrived.
No, it doesn't. It would not have sounded dumb and contrived to me 15 years ago.
Right.
Now it just sounds like some sort of weird, like this is going to be propaganda.
It's really not. Like she's a solid samurai, but she still gets her ass kicked constantly. So
that's good. The Mary Sue problem, right? That
she's by no means. I mean, she's Mary Sue like Dritz Do'Urden is Mary Sue. Like Dritz Do'Urden is a very compelling character, despite the fact that he's a Mary Sue. And when you're reading the stories of Drizzt Do'Urden, you still have this, this inkling that things could go seriously bad for this guy, even though he's the main character of the Dark Elf trilogy, or the Dark Elf saga, I should say. But if you're first coming to the Dark Elf saga and you don't know all about Drizzt Do'Urden, he could fucking die here fighting Artemis and Trary. This guy's clearly his fucking equal. He could die. So when you see Blue Eye Samurai fighting, and she's getting her ass handed to her, but she comes out on top at the end because she's the hero. She's the protagonist.
Sure.
She's still very much human, very much flawed, and very much vulnerable, I guess is what I'm going to say.
Sure, but also, does she get her hand cut off and have to escape and retreat, outnumbered and desperate, and with no hope of winning, barely any hope of survival? Because that's like Luke Skywalker's story, right?
She doesn't lose her hand.
Sure, but when Star Wars was good,
yes,
we actually had this thing of, oh my God, I'm in way over my head,
yes,
to the point that I was like, I should have died if it wasn't for the villain suddenly revealing that he's my father and doesn't want to kill me when he can.
Yeah.
I am literally at his mercy.
Yeah.
And so I have to run away.
She finds herself in situations where, yes, all looks like it is lost, but for the fate of, somebody who should have no loyalty towards her whatsoever comes out and saves her at the end, kind of thing. Yeah.
And this is also, here it is. This is part of it. Yasuke.
Yeah.
Yasuke was not a fucking samurai. Black Pigeon Speaks did a thing on this. The man lives in Japan. He's a huge, Japanophile or whatever,
Yeah.
right? He knows the story of this.
He's a weeaboo.
No. He's more
no,
than
I mean, he's a weeaboo in that he's a non-Asian person who loves Asian culture.
He's weeaboo plus because he fucking lives there. He moved and lives there. He's a fucking citizen of Japan.
Yeah.
He's a white citizen of Japan who lives that way now.
Yeah. And saves pigeons there too.
Yeah. But he told that story about Yasuke. I love Black Pigeon Speaks.
Yeah, he's great. He's a Canadian expat.
Might have been a black guy in
He's from
Japan,
Canada, right? He's Canadian expat.
Yes. But Yasuke was a slave who was kept like a pet by Nobunaga.
Okay.
And he barely spoke Japanese, but Nobunaga got a kick out of chatting with him and talking and they you ever see those people that put fucking the antlers on their dog at Christmas?
Yeah.
That's what they did with Yasuke.
They dressed him up like a local.
It was a ritual humiliation. You are my slave, and we're gonna dress you up like a samurai.
Okay.
It's a terrible story. It really is that isolationist, huge, racist idea of Japan at the time.
Yeah. Japan's still very racist. Japan's still very racist. Still isolationist and racist. Same with Korea. Same with China. The Asian countries are all very racist.
But
Asian cultures, I should say, are all very racist.
But stupid white people who are into the DEI thing, DEI types.
Oh my God, Black Samurai looks like a gun.
Yeah, and they make a whole fucking story about him.
Yeah, which is not real.
Which is not real.
Well, it's like that. Remember that movie about the African warrior maidens who fucking fought the Brits or the Australians or the Danish or whatever, or the Dutch,
the Woman King or whatever.
Yeah. And in reality, the real story was they fucking got slaughtered in no time. Like they put up a fight, but they all fucking died. And they outnumbered. And my understanding is they outnumbered the Finns or the fucking Dutch or whoever it was that they were fighting. but the Dutch fucking destroyed them anyway.
Well, what's that other one? Lawrence of Arabia, right? That's a very old movie, and that's actually based on a true story where they had 200 dudes with rifles against 5,000 Zulu.
Yeah.
And the Zulu won because they ran out of ammo. Take notes, guys.
Yeah.
But before they ran out of ammo, they didn't suffer a single loss, right? They held up in a square formation and just fucking slaughtered black people. And taking Yasuke and turning him into some kind of hero, it's like, that's just not what happened. And that's why I'm a little concerned about Blue-Eyed Samurai, that there's going to be this weird fucking DEI propaganda thing. And
there really isn't. It's just an aspect of her character that she's a half-breed and that she's a woman who's poses as a man in order to get places where women wouldn't normally be allowed to be. Because at the time, women were basically chattel to their husbands, and they couldn't even go anywhere without a male escort. So she has to pretend to be a man to get around. And basically, she's looking to, it's a vengeance story. She's looking to avenge her family kind of thing, right?
See, and I'll give them this. They went out on a limb by making her half white.
Yeah.
Right? Like, white people are cool again. Being white is cool. All right. Okay, maybe. I'm just I've been hesitant and haven't got
I understand reluctance because you're right. It has all the earmarks of, oh, this is just DEI bullshit. Women are better than men and all that. No. She definitely, like, they do play up on the fact that while she may be very skilled, she's not as strong as the male people she's fighting. But she is so goddamn skilled that she comes out on top most of the time, but not without taking her fucking lumps. She does get her ass handed to her. And she ends up being saved on more than one occasion by somebody who really, he's kind of like a fanboy, but she treats him like shit. And he shouldn't try and save her, but he does. He's like the most loyal motherfucker you've ever seen in fiction.
Can you make sense of this comment?
What's that? So I'm just wondering, will another Future Ass is Red entry be about that guy who they based that Tom Cruise movie off? I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, The Last Samurai.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Phenomenal film.
Yeah, I liked it.
Nathan Algren is a real guy who really was in Japan, who really had the ear of the emperor and had the ear of the leader of the Samurai Rebellion. This is basically a true story, and a lot of the stuff that when he's narrating is taken straight from the diaries of Nathan Algren. Like, yeah.
And it's a remake too. They made that movie. It was like a made-for-TV movie back in the 1970s, I think.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
And it was who the fuck was the actor? He was the first guy who played Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh shit! I should know that, but I don't.
No, that wasn't it. Shogun was the movie where it was a white guy.
Oh yeah.
And it was
in the original movie they made him English, but in the he was actually Portuguese. And in the current Shogun series, is it on Netflix? Yeah. He's Portuguese again, so
yeah. Count of Monte Cristo, the original one with who the fuck was it?
No, do you mean the African tribe that based their entire empire on slavery and got their ass kicked by the French with support from Foreign Legion? That Woman King of, that was a real story. Thanks, Nano. Yes. There was a lot of that in Africa at the time. Daily reminder, no white person hates any black person as much as black people hate black people who leave the shit pile of the ghetto. Eesh. Is it a hate speech?
Is it a hate speech?
Hey, man, Charles Barkley tried to blow the whistle on that a long time ago. And they put that Negro in his place.
That's racist.
He called out that crabs in the bucket mentality.
Yep.
And they were like, you can't
Richard Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain.
Yeah. That was the original Count of Monte Cristo I saw. And he also starred in Shogun, the TV movie back in the 1970s or 80s.
Yeah.
Who was, like you said, he was a Portuguese, but they made him out to be an Englishman. Yeah. Is it a hate speech?
Asians are racist. They hate each other. Like, okay, I did a whole video on this. People don't understand, especially in the West. We're all like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be racist, to the point that it's okay to be racist against white people now.
Yeah.
What people in the West don't get, racism is not just prevalent, it's not just accepted, all over the world. It's expected.
Yeah.
If a Chinese person on a bus in Shanghai gets up and declares, guys, I don't think the Japanese are that bad, he's at the very least going to get dirty looks. All right? I don't think he'll get lynched. But they'll be like, fuck you. Of course the Japanese are that bad. They're Japanese. Like,
well, not only that,
no,
they've got a pretty bad fucking history with the Chinese.
Sure, but everyone has bad history with everyone.
I'm not saying that the Japanese are super special and how bad they treated the Chinese, but they did treat them pretty fucking awful. It's understandable that the Chinese hate the Japanese. It's completely understandable that the Chinese hate the Japanese.
Sure. On that same note, it's understandable why the Japanese would hate the Chinese.
Sure.
Because for thousands of years, the Chinese were the greater empire that were imposing their will on Japan.
Sure.
Right? Japan got their moment. Got a couple of good moments.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I understand why Japanese and Chinese people hate each other more than I understand why black people hate white people. I get why black people hate white people, but the fact of the matter is, everything that's happened since, the terrible things that happened to black people at the hands of white people, has since been reconciled with everything that's gone on, in terms of legislation passed, in terms of opportunities given, in terms of policy and efforts made to reconcile the harm that was done. Black people at this point should be saying, yeah, you know what, it was shitty what happened, but we're way better off now. But they don't.
I don't think that even matters. Like, there are things that happened to your ancestors. There are things maybe my ancestors did.
Yeah.
But here we are now.
Yeah.
And it's only in the West, right? What you might call white majority nations that have ever even come across this concept of maybe judging people by the color of their skin isn't actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone can have a fair shot and go ahead, shoot your shot, take it.
Yeah.
What's that? It didn't work out? Okay, well, there's probably some work for you that can be, somewhat lucrative. You're not going to live whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody else does this. Nowhere else in the world is this a thing. Like,
I think, I'll be honest. I think that what we've overcorrected in the West, as a matter of fact. And I think that's why we have so much trouble in terms of like racial animosity. Like, take a look at what's happening.
Exactly the things you had said earlier that are the overcorrections.
Yes.
The policies and the little programs.
Well, that's just
special interest shit.
Because the problem with the overcorrection is so basically you had Booker T. Washington, okay, and you had William B. Du Bois, okay. Both of them had different ideas after slavery ended. Both of them have different ideas of what it meant, what African Americans or black people were going to need to do in order to become part of the American dream, right? Booker T. Washington said, okay, we're now free. We have to go back to the plantations and work in the fields so that our kids can become the, can become the mechanics. And so their kids can become the doctors. We have to say, thank you. We're now free. We'll go back and work in the fields for a wage and an opportunity to make money and an opportunity to live our own lives. And now, we'll do the shitty work so that our kids can do slightly better work and their kids can do the best work. William B. Du Bois, I believe that's his name, said, no. We'll handle it. We'll make sure we get the money and we'll dole it out to the poor black people in the cities and the poor black people. So basically they advocated for the white man to repay and the white man to compensate blacks for all the horrible treatment, and that ultimately gave rise to the welfare state and ultimately gave rise to black people becoming dependent on the state and becoming part of the Democrat vote plantation, as they call it.
Truman, right?
Yes.
We'll have Negroes voting Democrat for 200 years.
Yeah. If I got the names wrong, please correct me. I'm pretty sure it was William B. Du Bois, but I could be wrong.
Ibram X. Kendi, right?
Ibram X. Kendi?
Ibram X. Kendi is some sort of academic type, black man who's like, the only way to correct prior discrimination is current discrimination. We have to now discriminate against white people.
Right. Yeah.
He may as well be fucking Jewish.
But what that fails to recognize is that what you're essentially saying is that discrimination is right, and we were never wrong to discriminate against you.
Yeah.
So then it just simply becomes a power play. Who's the dominant race? Yeah. Who has more power and control? If you're saying that discrimination is fine and it's good, and it's really the only play, then we will discriminate against you again and put you back into a situation where you're not going to be very happy, because that's what you want to do to us. Right?
It's coming to a point where there might not be a lot of options, right? Like,
oh yeah, right. LBJ said it. You're right. Not Harry S. Truman. LBJ.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Nobody wants open borders for China. Nobody wants open borders for Japan.
No.
Nobody wants open borders for Africa or Israel
or Egypt.
Just majority white nations.
Right.
Why? Like, yeah. You look at,
because the idea is that white people have benefited far too greatly for too long, and so they need to be taken down a peg, and the people who have not benefited need to basically replace them. I know it sounds like, oh, white replacement theory. No, it's, you know what? It's what you've advocated for. You want the historically white nations to become browner, and you want people who are in those historically white nations to become less powerful, have less say and less access than the people who are coming in. And that's why when you look in New York and you find that homeless veterans are on the street getting addicted to drugs, and people who've just come across the border and been bused to New York are being put up in hotels.
$10,000 debit cards too.
That's right. That's right. What if there is no great replacement theory, then why are we seeing all the signs of it?
No, okay. So it's actually stupider than that. It is so dumb. You'll have people tell you, yes, we want to bring in all kinds of people from all over the place, right? People of not white skin colors, and we want the white population to be reduced, right? And be a smaller percentage till white people are not the majority in their nations of origin.
Right.
And if you say, well, okay, I agree that you want that and that's happening, and I'm just not happy about it, suddenly you become some sort of conspiracy theorist.
Right.
The thing they openly say they're doing and they want and is good.
Yeah.
When you say, actually, I don't agree that it's good. Oh, there's no such thing as white replacement. Like, people don't get it. Globally,
Yeah.
white people, European people of European descent are the minority. We are this
Globally, yes, you're right. We are. Yeah.
outside of Jews. We are the smallest group of people in the world. All right.
Yeah.
8 billion, they tell us. We're less than 1 billion.
Yeah.
Fewer than 1 billion.
Right.
And getting smaller all the time.
Right.
Christians too.
Yeah.
People don't know this. Globally, the most oppressed group of people anywhere is Christians. Christians suffer at the hands of governments and other religions more than anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially in the United States, where they send SWAT teams to Catholic families because they spoke out online about something.
Oh
you,
my
you remember
God.
that big thing where a guy was wanted for questioning, was going to be placed under arrest for his involvement at the Capitol or something along those lines. Anyway, he had said, "Oh, I see that you've got a warrant for me. Yeah, I'm happy to come in, no problem." They didn't take him up on the offer. They instead decided to SWAT his house with his kids and his wife there, and his kids are screaming, and they're pointing semi-automatic rifles at them, all geared up. Even though he said, "Yeah, I'll come in peacefully." Nope. They wanted to make a show of it, and they wanted to scare the fuck out of him and his kids and intimidate. And so he did. Right? When they call people going to school board meetings and saying, "Hey, we don't like all this trans stuff being taught to our 6-year-olds," and then they get put on a list to be
FBI watch
investigated
list, yeah.
for being extremists. We got a few comments here.
Irving speaks the truth. Sometimes I try my best. I
Yeah.
try
When
at the
he's
very
been
least.
drinking,
I
when he's
try
been
not
drinking.
to tell blatant lies.
When he's been drinking, he speaks the truth. Oh yeah, because Nana Reaper says because they say we need them to prop up the boomers' retirement funds because white people don't fuck enough. Well, no, but that's the thing. You haven't given them a reason to make families. You've given them a reason to have 2 incomes and not have kids. And you've told them all for the last 50 years, having children is irresponsible and it's bad for the planet and it's going to kill us. We have too many people. When in reality, we're at the brink of a population collapse. Meanwhile, countries like Hungary and Czechoslovakia are saying, "You know what? Have kids. Have enough kids, and you won't ever pay income taxes again. We want you to have kids. We don't want migrants to come into our country. We want Hungary to be for Hungarians. So Hungarians make fucking babies, and we'll reward you for making babies and taking care of them." That's what they could do in Canada. That's what they could do in the United States. But no, they want to replace us.
Marmari, right? That's the name of the bishop.
Marmari, is that the guy who got stabbed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a wizard with the fucking hood and shit.
He's Orthodox, yes.
Hey, look, man, I'm not dissing him. I think he looks fucking super cool. He looks like a goddamn wizard out of Dungeons and Dragons. That's fucking awesome.
I'll give him this. The Orthodox, they know how to dress, right?
Yeah, it's true.
They dress themselves for the occasion. And what's really crazy, you watch the video, you watch it in slow motion. That Muslim kid comes up screaming Allahu Akbar, whips out this fucking switchblade, and goes to stab Marmari.
Yeah.
Instinctually, this man grabs the cross hanging around his neck and holds it up to the kid.
Yeah.
You know that knife fucking fails? The switchblade does not come out immediately.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, he has to punch him a few times and work the knife out before he can fucking actually stab him.
Now he survived, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been
apparently lost
doing interviews of late. Yeah.
Was injured. It was a rough time, but this weird thing that the man sees someone coming for him And what does he do? He goes for his cross and holds the fucking cross to the offender.
Yeah.
And the weapon fails. Like, that's just fucking wild. You
That
know,
is pretty cool.
it's
Yeah.
The scientist in me says Occam's razor, those weapons are actually shitty and they don't work most of the time. You know, like there's a fair chance. It's like a coin toss whether or not your pop knife is gonna pop.
Yeah.
But there it was, and
Yeah.
you're seeing it. Like, this is something I tried to tell you, and I tried to tell what was that kid's name? Blowfisk?
Yeah. The Twitch guy. Yeah.
You already have what you need.
Yeah.
You don't have absolute proof that you can show to another person and say, here's the defining scientific characteristics.
Yeah.
You, the individual, you have what you need.
Well, this is why I say I've recently, like I've told you, I'm an ardent atheist. I've been an ardent atheist for a long time. And I still consider myself atheist simply because I lack a belief in a God.
Sure.
That being said, I do believe there's more than just the material universe. I do believe that the universe has some supernatural quality to it. I don't know what it is. I don't have any direct evidence of it, but I have this feeling that there's more to this than any of us understand, the believer and the atheist alike. And while the believer may have a narrative associated with that belief in the supernatural, and it works for them, and it serves their purposes, and it does well by them, great. I have all the appreciation for that belief. I don't particularly have it, but I'm willing to recognize that there are miracles in the world, and when I say miracles, I mean it in the poetic sense. I mean things happening that just seem too outstanding and amazing to be just a matter of coincidence. So when a guy tries to stab a priest and he holds out the cross, and the cross protects him for all intents and purposes, and that knife doesn't work, that is pretty freaking amazing. And while it might not be an indication of the supernatural, I can understand why people would draw that connection.
Greg, I can't prove it to you.
I know. I don't expect you to prove it to me. What I'm saying is,
but you have.
I am willing to accept that miraculous things will happen. And
what I'm saying is,
and I will be amazed when I see it. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, Craig, come and see.
Right, but it's one of these things
you have what you need.
Right, and it's like quitting smoking, right? Anybody can tell you 1,000 times, quit smoking, quit smoking, it's bad for you, it's quit smoking.
That's low.
Until you are ready to quit smoking, you are not going to quit smoking. And it's the same thing for people who come to a belief system, or who abandon a certain path or abandon an addiction. They need to do it on their own. And it's going to happen at one point or another, or it won't. But it's not for anyone to say.
Took me a long time too, you know.
That's like, you know what, and I'm glad that it's gone that way for you. I'm grateful for it. And I am, you know what, like, I'm always open. Right? I am not such an ardent materialist that I'm just going to say, that's impossible. There's obviously a logical scientific explanation, because there's not one worldview anywhere that can account for everything. And like I said, if you keep your eyes open, you're going to spot miracles. Now, whether those are things from God, or whether it's a matter of a chaotic universe that just sometimes makes some pretty amazing things happen.
If you keep your eyes open, you're going to spot miracles. I would say,
yeah,
you're being given what you need.
I appreciate that. Well, you're going to love my lyric at the end of the night then.
Oh, my man. And we're getting railed with comments too.
Nuns in power armor with bolters. Dude, we had the puffing prophet.
Yes.
Like the nuns in Black Lagoon.
Like,
nuns with
don't
guns.
underestimate.
He's an agnostic. Like, yeah, I'm what you would call Squid, an agnostic atheist. I don't know. So Gnosticism and agnosticism speaks to what you know. Theism, atheism speaks to what you believe or lack belief in. I am an agnostic atheist. I don't know if there's anything, if there's a supernatural source to the universe, but given that I have no evidence for the existence of a God, I lack a belief in one.
I can give you a fairly logical existence or a fairly logical argument for supernatural.
No, and you know what? I've heard them. I've heard the metaphysical arguments. I've heard the different.
No, this is weird. Falls under Irving's oddities for sure.
Well, good, because we haven't left the topic for like an hour. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. The rules.
Yeah.
The rules have to exist.
You talk about the rules of the universe, the rules of physics. Yeah,
physics.
Laws of physics. Yes.
Yeah. The physics have to be real before any matter or energy exists. There are fundamental truths that supersede the concept of physics.
Right.
Because without rules, motion is not possible. There can be no interaction between matter and energy without rules. And the rules are not bound by matter and energy.
Right.
So they have to be real first. Then matter and energy can come into existence. Right? Like a chessboard. Think of a chessboard with all the pieces set up.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, let's play. What are the rules? If there are no rules, nobody moves first.
Right.
Right? White moves first? No. Black moves first. That's rules. They have to be real before you ever move a piece.
Right.
Now, here's where it gets really weird. The existence of the pieces are rules, and those rules have to be real before the pieces exist. Where they're placed is rules that have to exist before you place them on the board.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So there are something below, like an insurance policy, underwriting the existence, even the board itself. 64 squares, alternating colors, 8 by 8. That's a rule, and the rule has to exist before the board can be built.
Right. Same goes for any game. Same goes for anything that we have.
But that's what goes for existence. There has to be something underwriting the whole concept of existence.
Right.
And you might think, oh, well, outside of the physical universe, it's undefined, so it's not really our, it's not our purview to really examine it. And that's the joke about the chirp in the hallway and Neil deGrasse Tyson saying, oh, yeah, I don't know why the hallway chirps. I don't distract myself with the philosophical why the hallway chirps. I know the hallway chirps. I can predict the next chirp and the following chirp. And that's, I have a good understanding of the chirp, and that's enough for me.
Right.
No.
Well, and here's the thing. This is the thing that's kind of like irksome. When a materialist or a scientist or a person who describes themselves as a materialist, let's say, says the universe is awesome. It's awesome without a God, and I'm happy that the universe is awesome regardless of whether there's a God or not. That's all fine and good. But if you're a scientist, you shouldn't be satisfied with just saying, well, it's just a mystery of the universe. And you should always try and uncover more. And you should always try and figure out more. And that's why I think that scientists do themselves and the materialists do themselves a disservice to completely ignore or dismiss the idea of the metaphysics and dismiss the idea of something more than what is observable. Now, they've done a great job at going into all sorts of realms of existence, from the nano, quantum, to the microwave background radiation, to try and figure out more about the nature of reality. But again, those are limited, right? They're limited to a specific approach, which is observable empirical.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that empiricism and observable fact and observable existence, there's more to it than that. And I don't think that doesn't mean I ascribe it to a holy figure in a white robe with a beard. What it means is there's more to the universe. There are more things in heaven and earth than can be dreamt of in your philosophy, Horatio.
Horatio.
What I'm saying is, like, yeah, just because you think you know what's going on doesn't mean you know what's going on. And there's far more out there than you can quite possibly understand. And that's why I say, take whatever method, whatever mechanisms you need to try and understand the universe, but just be prepared for miracles. There's going to be things you'll never understand. There's going to be things that will just drive you bonkers when you look at them, and you'll go, I never expected something like that to happen. Does that make you a believer, or does it just make you open-minded, or just make you prepared for awe and wonder? I don't know. Normies love to pretend. What did he say? I missed that.
Normies love to pretend they are scientists. The real goal of scientists should be to answer why, how, when, what, etc. Look.
Well, if you're a practical scientist trying to answer specific questions in a lab setting, or in a zoological setting, yeah, that's what you should be doing.
He's here. G Money, Uncle Jeezy.
Hey, Jeezy. Scientists, men have periods.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Men can get pregnant. That's right. Thanks, scientist.
Right. Here's the problem. The concept of science can be corrupted. The concept of truth can't. You can't really corrupt the truth. If you corrupt the truth, it's not the truth. So it's just lies. But truth seems to be pervasive, whether you like it or not. And we find ourselves discussing scientific principles and these weird, you see these science people, the materialists, you call them atomists. I think they've been described as in philosophy.
Right.
And they just like to ignore the concept of truth, that certain things have to be true,
right?
Before any other thing can happen.
For them, truth is purely an empirical concept, right?
Which
so
can't
truth
be
is what they can prove
based on what they know.
Right. Truth is what they can prove, and what can be demonstrated, and what can be repeated.
And that's not the same thing as true.
Right.
That's actually provable. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a person who went to Catholic school, grew up with an Orthodox mother and a Roman Catholic father.
Right.
And it was going to Catholic schools that drove me away from all of this.
Yeah.
And it was my leanings towards science that managed to draw me back.
Yeah.
When I started discovering these things, these ideas that, oh, wait a minute. The rules of physics have to actually be fundamental truths that exist prior.
Scientists, higher taxes change the weather.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, okay, I'll go all day on climate.
Yeah.
And that climatology should be in the same category as astrology.
Have you ever seen the movie? I think, for all its faults, I think my sort of current outlook on things can be best, I shouldn't say described, but best, not described, what's the word?
Expressed.
There we go. Best expressed with the movie, for all its faults, Contact, with Jodie Foster.
Such a good movie, underrated.
See, now that's the thing. Not everybody likes it, right? And I think they did make some sort of like take some liberties with the original source material. But in the movie, essentially what it comes down to is you have this materialist in Jodie Foster's character.
Yeah.
Whose name I can't remember. You have this materialist, a scientist who believes, basically this is science, this is math, mysteries of the universe will all be discovered by a science. But in the end of the day, she has this experience that can only be believed because she has faith that she had this experience, right? So while it was very real to her,
18 and a half hours.
right, but that was what kept, that was the empirical evidence that she was gone for a legit amount of time, whereas everybody else saw her not leave at all. She just fell and landed, and that was it, right? But there was 18 and a half hours of blank tape of static, right, on something that should have only been a few seconds worth of recorded video. Now, the empiricists would say, well, obviously, some of the radiation caused that static to run across the length of the recording tape, the whole tape for 18 and a half hours until she landed back again. There was something with the radioactive, whatever. That's what they'll say. There's a logical scientific explanation. But to Jodie Foster's character, she's like, no, this happened. Even if I can't prove it, even if you can't witness what I witnessed, it happened, and I believe it with all my heart. Even though I have no evidence to suggest that it actually did happen. If she was a true materialist, you could say, well, maybe it was all just a fucking dream. Maybe it was all in my fucking head, because all the evidence shows that it didn't actually occur. And everybody's telling me it didn't occur. And if she was a materialist, if she was a true materialist, a true scientist, she would be saying, yep, obviously I imagined it, because all the evidence points to me imagining it. It was a hallucination brought on by, the phenomena associated with the radiation of this, machine that I fell through. But she didn't do that. She was a materialist and a scientist who found faith in her experience. That's how I view, or that's how you could express sort of my point of view with reconciliation of the universe. I have this understanding about things based on my understanding, my limited understanding of the physical reality based on a scientific point of view, right? But yet I know that there are people out there who have had experiences that can only be described as miraculous, can only be described as supernatural, and I accept their belief in those things. And I'm sitting here waiting for something like that to happen to me, but it hasn't happened yet. Does that make sense?
It does.
And you're saying that I have the tools to make it happen, but the thing is, I don't think it's something that I can force. I think it's something that has to happen to me naturally, in the same way that a person who wants to quit smoking has to really want to quit smoking for it to happen.
That's low.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about anybody. If you want to quit smoking, man, go for it. I'm not going to stop you, and I'll cheer you on all the way. But you have to want to do it, is what I'm saying.
This comment hits me hard in the heart.
Irving is the second person I respect calling me home to Christ. Please stop. God, I have all these homework assignments you gave me.
I'm very sorry, because I'm like the worst Christian to do this to another person. And so I apologize for putting that kind of pressure on you. Like, I am
to who?
To Squid.
Oh,
right. If he he respects me calling him home, it's like I didn't even do it. I didn't even go home. I'm so far away from what I should be at this point, So
yeah, but everybody's journey is different, man.
But if I'm saying a thing that draws someone else, because I find myself sometimes so far removed, and like,
yeah, it's only because you're
doubting and questioning, and it's hard. And what I'm trying to tell you, Craig, is you already have what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get proof, right?
I'm not saying I want proof. What I'm saying is, if I were to become a believer, let's say, there would need to be some sort of revelation on my part, and it might be that I'm at a particularly low period, and I reach out for guidance to a higher power, and I find it, right? Or it could just be that something happens that makes me go, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that I can't force it upon myself.
I know.
And I can't, no one can say you gotta believe, and like they can, but that's not what's going to convince me. That's not what's going to get me there.
I know.
It's going to be something that comes about holistically or organically, I'm sure. If it comes at all, it might not ever, but you have faith that it will.
See, and one of the things is what I've said before is some of us have the law written already in our hearts, and you're already doing it. You're already being a better man than I am.
No. You don't know my darkness.
Hey, I know my own darkness, and I know you are at the very least trying to be better.
I try to be good. Like, you know how I make the joke about Canada Man having an unerring moral compass?
Yeah.
That's what I strive for. I would love to have an unerring moral compass. I would love to know what is the right thing to do in any given situation.
You created a fictional character to personify what you know in your heart is good and right and just.
I just don't know how practical it would be. Like, how could you practically have? No, but okay. Let's say he's a fictional character.
No. Give me a second here.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You made him a warrior. You made him a fighter.
Yeah.
He doesn't sit back, and he's not afraid to be confrontational.
Right.
You made him a literal Jesus. And you put him in these situations where he might be killed for his beliefs over and over again.
So what does that say about me?
You go out to airsoft games and get him fucking murdered for his beliefs.
Right? So what does it say about me? I've got a Jesus complex?
No, you have a Jesus desire. Right? That what you want is for this to be real badly, and you know that you as a person can't be Jesus.
No.
But you can play at it and be quote unquote.
You know what's funny? For even though I'm an atheist, I would feel really, really bad if I were to dress up as Jesus. I wouldn't feel bad dressing up as Canada Man.
Exactly. you made like a pseudo Jesus.
Yeah.
That you go out and get killed over and over again.
Yeah.
And your pseudo Jesus always fights for what you believe is right and just and good.
Yeah.
And from what we've discussed, it seems to me that you actually have some sort of real moral compass written into you. And you say, no, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. Okay, fine. Yeah, but you believe in the same things in which Jesus believes.
And but I truly believe that everybody, save a few psychopaths here and there, everybody has a moral compass. I think everybody knows deep down inside right from wrong. And I think
everybody's as strong as you.
Well, I don't know that I'm that strong either, because I don't always make the right choice.
Well, sometimes you get
cowardly. I've lied. I've done things that I'm not proud of, for sure.
We all do. That's why we need to be forgiven. Right. That we need to forgive ourselves, learn to forgive ourselves, and become better through it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do better now. I'm not going to, like this guy was saying, no, Irving speaks truth. I try, at the very least, I try not to tell blatant lies. And yeah, you're doing that too. You're trying to be better. You can't be perfect. You're human.
Right.
You're made of meat.
Right.
And so you're flawed. But if you try to be better, you're on that path.
Sure.
You're doing it.
And that's what I'm saying. When I think, but I don't think I'm unique. I don't think, and I don't even think I'm special in that sense. I think everybody has it in them to try and be better. I think people find their moral intuition gets clouded by things like ideology, gets clouded by things like past trauma and bad character traits like pettiness and stuff like that. And that's what prevents them from being morally good. But I think deep down inside, everybody has that capacity to be morally good and to try to be morally better, but for the other things in our lives, the other stressors that prevent us from doing what we know we should be doing. You know what I'm saying? From getting off my ass and going downstairs and cleaning up the basement, right? Something I know needs to be done, but I don't do it. Why? Well, because I'm flawed, right? I've got that that laziness sickness. I've got that sloth, or I got that, whatever.
Always.
Yeah.
It's not going to be avoidable, but I think the worst thing that's happening is the subversion of the concept of culture.
Yeah.
Not just culture subverted, but the concept that
well, it's been diluted to the point where people don't believe it has any value.
Exactly.
And people and you hear people saying, well, what is white culture? There's no such thing as white culture. I don't know. Johann Sebastian Bach, that's white culture. Fucking Beethoven, Leonardo da Vinci, that's all fucking white culture.
No, it's more than that.
William Shakespeare is all white culture.
It's more than that, and it's deeply rooted in Jesus.
Yeah, no, sure. The Christian tradition is white culture, but it's not alone white culture, because Christianity was in Ethiopia before it was in Europe, right? So, yeah.
Sure, but the culture of Christianity and largely European peoples is giving and service. People don't want to accept what capitalism is service at its root. I find a niche, I find a place, people need or want something, and I now serve that need or want, and suddenly I can make some money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what Jesus was saying with this is my body, this is my blood.
Right.
Jesus was a carpenter, and to a lesser degree a mason.
Right.
When he said, this food I give you and this wine that you drink comes out of my body and my blood. Yeah. It's my body. He meant it literally. Mm-hmm. It comes literally out of my hide. Yeah. It's out of my ass.
Well, he pays for dinner, right? Like,
my hands bleed for you.
He put, well, and not only that, but I mean, also, if you want to look at it in a literal, more grounded sense, he put on the dinner. The Last Supper was like, he got the food, he got the wine for his disciples and him to eat.
Where did he get the money?
Right, exactly. He had to toil for it. He toiled for it.
Yes. Yeah. And we do this. The Western world does this to this day.
You brought up the word capitalism, and Squid Coyote just mentioned something here. He said capitalism is just exchange. This is the thing. Capitalism is a communist term. Before the term capitalism was ever brought about, it was just mercantilism. And mercantilism was what communists raged against, because mercantilism worked. And it was like, you've got to provide something of value to this in a mercantile society in order to get what you need. And that's how it should work, and that's how it will work. And the communists were like, yeah, but I have nothing of value, so I'm going to be resentful. And we're not going to call it mercantilism. It's capitalism, which sounds more sinister. And then they could ascribe all sorts of traits to capitalism that were not actually part of mercantilism. Traits like greed, traits like, monopolies and corruption and, predation and stuff like that. That's not what mercantilism is. And that's not what free exchange and markets are about. Markets are about exactly what you described. I have something I need. You have something I have something I can give you to get what I need. Let's work on that together. Prior to money, it was all done via barter and exchange of services. But then we had money because it was a shorthand, made things quicker and easier.
And that has value. And I don't want to get into the money talk. I'm too drunk, and it will go on for hours. But yes, I provide a service. You provide a service or a good. We can exchange it.
Yeah. And we both leave happy, relatively happy.
Exactly. Yeah. We both benefit.
Right.
That's actually the hallmark of what you might call Western civilization.
Yeah.
Largely
which is also written, codified into the Bill of Rights with freedom of association, meaning I can exchange ideas, goods, services with anyone I want to, and in turn, they can exchange with me. But I can't be forced to exchange with people, and nobody can be forced to exchange with me.
Unless, of course, it's a vaccine, and now your tax dollars are getting spent.
Yeah.
And you have to take it, or maybe you can't get on a bus.
Oh.
What?
Well, that reminds me. Do you mind if I share something real quick?
Hit me.
Do you have the category, is this a hate speech?
Let's put it up.
You don't have to. I'm just
yeah.
So there's a is it a hate speech? So there's a Twitter account called government.exe is corrupt.
Gov.exe is corrupt.
Yeah. And they post, he's a Canadian Twitter personality. So he put this up. I have no idea why people are talking about Justin Trudeau stepping down. He's the most amazing prime minister ever, going 3 terms without a single scandal. SNC Lavalin wasn't his fault. It was because of Jody Wilson-Raybould. We Charity wasn't his fault. That's on the Kilberger brothers. It was not his fault. He wore blackface at least 3 times. He didn't know better. He certainly didn't grope that woman. She just experienced it differently. It's not his fault the economy is doing poorly. That's on Stephen Harper, Russia, and Putin. It wasn't his fault. He had to ban people from travel during COVID. The unvaccinated had a choice. Trampling protesters, freezing bank accounts wasn't his fault either. That was an insurrection. It certainly wasn't his fault. He stood and cheered for an SS Nazi war vet. Anthony Rota should have known better. Nothing is ever Justin Trudeau's fault. He's perfect in every way. Anyone who disagrees may be guilty of a hate crime. To which I responded, is this a hate speech? It turns out government.exe liked my meme, so that was pretty nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's actually like that's some fanboy shit.
Well, yeah, because he's let's see. I think he's got quite a few followers. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got 76,000 followers.
Skippy.
Yeah, followed by Candyman and 82 others you follow. Yeah, so I'm along with a bunch of other people who follow him. I don't think he follows me though. Anyway.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Anyway, yeah, so that was is it a hate speech? It's not my fault I am a drunk college frat boy. Also, why is money not flowing into my mouth? Dad, this is the 7th time you've asked for money. Yeah. Squid, you said mercantilism is bad. Why is mercantilism bad? Mercantilism just seems to me like, early market systems,
Okay. I just want everyone to know. Unions didn't do what you think they did. You don't have weekends and 8-hour days because of the fucking union. You know why you have 8-hour work days? What?
There was always a day of rest. It was the Sabbath.
Sure.
The fact that you got a second day of rest is nothing to do with unions.
But do you know why you have a weekend, 2 days, and 8-hour work days?
I don't know why.
You don't know?
Oh, I would say it probably has to do with agriculture. You work during the daylight hours because most of work for the longest time was related to sun setting and sun rising. You work during the daylight hours because that was the only time to do work.
The shorthand answer?
God,
Nazis.
what's that?
It's Nazis.
Nazi. The
Yeah.
Nazis brought it in.
8 hours and 2 days off on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. And those motherfucking Germans went to work and they busted their asses 8 hours and took their 2 days off happily.
Yeah.
It's not unions. Unions did not do this. It was the Nazis were fucking creaming us with their 8-hour days and their 2-day weekends. And everybody had to adopt it to keep up with them.
Right.
They worked less often and more efficiently.
Yeah.
That's this myth of like, oh, German efficiency. No, Nazi efficiency.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's even translated in German culture to this day. Like, even though it's no longer Nazi, but I have a cousin who worked for a company, a multinational, and she would sometimes go over to Germany to work, and they looked at her, you know, askance when, you know, it would come at 5 o'clock would come, and you know they'd all be leaving, and she was, oh, I just got to finish this thing. And it wasn't like, oh, what a hard worker putting in those extra hours. It was like, what is wrong with you? You can't get the work done in the 8 hours. Why are you getting your work done? It's time to finish. We're finished. It's time to go home. Oh, there's one more thing I want to take care of. No, like, if you can't get your work, if you can't manage your time to get the job done within the 8 hours that you were scheduled to work, you're doing something wrong. That was the way they looked at it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, good for you for putting in that extra work. Whereas here, we're like, well, no one goes home at 5 o'clock. Everybody stays here till 6:30 or 7. Sometimes we work until 8. Why are you going home early? I'm not going home early. I'm paid from 9 to 5. You know? Anyway,
Japanese, right?
Unions are Nazis, commies. Nazis are socialists, National Socialists. Anyone who gets mad about this is not to be trusted. Communism is the ideology for people who don't know what it would feel like if they didn't eat breakfast. Yep. Sir, we're coming up. We're over 3 hours now.
We are.
I'm probably gonna have to call it a night.
Yes, we should. I want to, but I want to share a thing if I can make it work.
Ugh. You too drunk?
No, I'm just having trouble finding it. I don't know where I saved it.
Imagine a world in which commies were fist fighting people in the streets to go into the coal mines. Yeah. What am I listening to?
Oh, you heard it. Okay, good.
Yeah, I heard it. I don't know what it was, but it sounded like K-pop for a second. Or porn.
Oh, it's fucking wild.
It's what?
It's wild. That's my new word. I've been using it. I'm going to continue to use it.
Also, good night, Craig. Stay solid in your agnosticism. Thanks, brother.
It's
Oh, Christ.
It's time for a Nazi party.
What the fuck are we watching? Where the fuck did you find that? Let me guess. 4chan.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, Christ, that's hilarious. Oh, shit, man. That's good.
Good times.
Yeah, that was good. Well, sir, I know it's your stream, but I think I got to call it a night.
Yeah, no, we should. 3 hours. We were crossing the 2-hour mark. I was like, are we still gonna go? Are we gonna go for a little while? This is the worst thing. Every time I have been like, I don't want to drink on stream. I'll wait till 1 hour into the stream so we can drink.
You just stay on an extra hour and get drunk.
Yeah, no, you stay on an extra hour. Just let us run.
It's not me. It's your fucking stream, man. You can call it anytime you want. Anyway.
So here we are.
All right. Me in the front. It says Squid
You know the craziest part? They're still watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
have
don't know how many you got watching.
78 viewers.
Stay agnostic, everyone. Okay, well, I'm going to finish with my song lyric then.
Yes.
Sean, I spent a while on clouds to ask God if he's living. I should have spent some time on knee in thanks for what he's given. That's a Proclaimers, by the way.
It's kind of sad.
Anyway, good night, folks.
But I'll hit the buttons. Yes, good night. Thanks for coming, everyone. Craig's channel next week, Ammunition.
Belay that. I'm not sure. We've got stuff going on next week. I may not be able to broadcast, but if things line up, then I can, but I don't know that I will be.
Links in the description. You can find him weeks following and his back catalog. So good night. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, all.
Hail Sigmar.